Just sent you some.
Wallop!
Hey!
Hey-oh! Hello, welcome. We're back. Listen to our funky intro music because Duncan and I can't. It's over late. There you go, there's a peek behind the curtain. We're here to watch the classic Sylvester Stallone directed, Sylvester Stallone starring 1985's Rocky IV, where he's going to go and punch communism and therefore end the Cold War. We can't wait to see how that turns out. The surprise ending. Spoilers, Rocky wins. But in all seriousness, this is like one of my favourite movies. I fucking love Rocky IV and Rocky things in general. So there you go. So hello.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I just rambled. I didn't like go. Hello, Duncan.
Hi. Hi. It does. It's a weird one because it was just for those of you who don't know who aren't on Patreon. This was to a vote over there, and they, it was between this. It was 1, 2, 3, and 4 basically, and this one, which by quite a long shot as well.
Smashed it. Yeah, I think we both sort of had a feeling. It's got a weird sort of cult status because I mean, really, I could so easily see any of them winning. But I just suppose Rocky IV, and Rocky IV is kind of on people's minds, I think, because Creed 2 was the last Rocky IV 2 was the last Rocky film we saw. So perhaps we being the human race, not me and Duncan. The last Rocky film I saw was Rocky IV on Saturday night, and I was like, oh, I'll suggest a Rocky thing, and then the one I've already watched recently won, which is very handy.
Yeah.
I say watched. We sort of like drunkenly talked over it, which is what I do with my mates Alex and Nick every time we watch Rocky IV. It's our favourite thing to do that with.
Very good.
Which is always a good time. So what have you been up to this week? I've been stuck in my house.
Hey, likewise, really, just working. It's weird how fast it's gone. Yeah, nothing particularly exciting to report back. I should get my car back again tomorrow. That's not exciting, is it? It's all we just needed. I bought a new car. That was exciting, but then it just needed a couple of bits doing, which they're doing for me, and then that's it.
It was a nicely kind of partridgey one.
Yeah.
The
courtesy car's all right. It's a Mini Club. No, a Mini Cooper. Sorry, a Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper.
It's all right.
I like minis. Minis are sweet. Because I don't know.
Pretty much brand new. It's a brand new one, so it's like it's full of like pretty fancy stuff. It's got those things where you open the door like at night. It knows it's nighttime and it throws like a Mini logo in like a kind of LED light on the floor.
Someone showed me that. So I think someone I know had a Mini and they showed me the
It's a weird thing though, because it's like that's the sort of thing you associate with quite high end cars, and obviously BMW make Mini and everything, and inside it's got a lot of high end stuff, but it doesn't have reach and rake steering, and it doesn't have like a leather steering. It's weird. It's got odd sort of cost cutting things in it, but it has that. And my Audi doesn't even have the Audi logo on the ground, so I don't know. But there you go.
Casey news, Casey car news.
Casey car news, yeah.
Casey car news. I've been in my house. No, that's not true. I'm back filming at the airport again, so I did that, and then I'm back there in a couple of weeks. That's what I did this week. Otherwise, it's very hard. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought it would be comical to do the thing people do on streams, creating the artifice of asking what each other have been doing all week, despite having been on air together before we came on. And then I realised it really is a comedy dead end, because the joke is, haha, I haven't done anything. And then before you know it, you're talking about like walnut grips and stuff,
walnut grips. That's not. Yeah.
That's a walnut grip. I don't know what that means even. I've neglected my bike. I've barely touched my bike. It's been absolutely neglected. I've been running, though I fucked my foot up. Did I tell you that? Really hurt my foot.
You said, I think you said that you had an injury in the offing, but you weren't sure. Did you run on it again or something? Then?
No, it's just not gone away completely, and I just thought it's because I hadn't hydrated and I pulled a muscle, but I don't think it is. Fun. So
everyone's telling you to buy a Lexus, which they are the most boring cars. I mean, I'm sure they're very reliable and lovely and everything, but no, Lexi.
It's the Japanese Mercedes. Rocky 4. So I did a Silent Hill stream last night, and a few of the people that I see in the chat just now popped in last night for a bit of Silent Hill action on PS1, which was fun. Sam Montgomery. And we'll get into this because I've got a low-key fascination with the pool.
Can I just remind you? We need to give Chip.
Yes.
Shrek. Sorry, so because I know I'll forget. And then,
yes, no,
sorry,
very good. I had already forgotten, so very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Chip was sorry. We got a super chat from Chip Shrek, Max Shrek's son.
His dad is quite rich. He probably inherited a lot when he died.
Quite the gruesome death. It was. Yeah. So. Thank you, Chip. I don't know. Did he say
£5? He says, "Thank you for bringing joy to the masses. Keep up the good work." Thank you, Chip, for your donation. Right. So anyway, Rocky 4. Mild obsession with the robot, because the robot is one of the most ridiculous things in all films and is very incongruous. And there's talk. I don't know if you saw, but Stallone reckons there's a director's cut of Rocky 4 coming with the robot taken out. Was the rumor, which I've taken a bit of umbrage to, because But Sam Montgomery, who I'm sure will be on in a bit, I don't think he's here just at the moment, came along and said, well, and this I was just kind of like, and apologies to Sam, because he's kind of like, the robot is there because James Brown only agreed to appear in the film if there's a robot in it. And I was like, come on, Sam, no, that can't be right. But then other people came in and said, apparently James Brown wanted the robot to go on tour with, and had a robot on the Living in America, the tour for that album. I can't remember the name of that album, and he therefore needed the robot, would only appear in the film if there's a robot. And I just want to, and some people just chimed in, and that is insane, and I need closure really on that. That is so I just wanted to get that out of the way before the film starts.
I mean, James Brown, not known for his most coherent of speech, might have been a little nor Stallone. There may have just been a communication issue. You know what I mean? Like something lost in translation.
Oh? And before you know it, half the budget's gone.
I don't know about Roa or nothing. And, James Brown talking about Roa. And what he really wanted was a roebuck. A small deer.
Well, finally, the mystery's solved. It was a communication error from two very incoherent men.
There you go.
Thus leading to the famous robot. Which again, I'll bring this up again because I love to bring it up because it makes me laugh. At Comic-Con, I shared a room. Well, actually, it was my room, but I ended up sort of illegally sharing it with Brad and my friend Sam. Mm-hmm. And we ended up till like 6 a.m. just laughing over the same hack old jokes that we'd be making. And the one that me and Brad really latched onto was like in Rocky Balboa, he goes to Adrian's grave, right, and Paulie's still alive. And then in Creed 2, he goes to Adrian and Paulie's grave. So we were like, so in Creed 3, then he must go to the robot's grave, who's buried next to Paul.
That's how escalation works.
Oh, so no, it's Rocky Balboa, Creed, and then Creed 2. So we were speculating that in Creed 2, it'd be a dead robot. Oh. But there you go. What are your thoughts? Should we do that? Let's do something. Let's do some live. I'm going to call this a clickbait jam. We're going to do a live clickbait jam.
Okay.
So I'm going to rate the Rockies.
Okay.
But I'm going to leave the Creeds out for now because I don't want to muddy the waters. So my Rocky rating would be 1, 4, 3, 2, 5.
Yeah, I could see that. I think I'm very close to that. I think I would just change. What was it?
Oh, 1, no, I forgot Balboa. Oh my god, let me start again.
Yeah.
I'd probably say 1, 4, 6, 2, 5. 1, 4. No, wait, I've missed out 3. This is really hard. Is this why we don't do clickbait? Or I just can't count. Let me start again. 1, 4, 6, 3, 2, 5. 1, 4, 6, 3, 2, 5.
Okay. So I would probably, the only thing I would change, I would say 1.
It's quite difficult, isn't it?
Obviously gave this no thought before I came in. I mean, I'm a big fan of 2. I really like 2, but I totally get why it's not great. I think you can kind of see 1 and 2. Like 2's more of like an addendum in a way and a retread, but it's like it's a sort of quantum of solace. You know, it's like
I don't hate it. It's low on my list because I think there's a big drop off between 2 and 5. But I just find 2. It's lovely and it's an addendum, but it's kind of like, why are we doing this? Whereas 3 really carries on. 3 changes the dynamic between Apollo and Rocky, changes their story, adds some stakes, and then this continues on from the stuff that happens in 3. It kind of feels a bit more like a true sequel.
3 I'm not. Yeah, see, 3 for me is the most forgettable because basically 3 and 4 are the kind of villain of the week type. It's like episodic.
Yes, and they're very cartoony.
Yeah, they're very cartoony, and I feel with 4 is better at doing that than 3 is. So 3 for me tends to be quite forgettable. So I'd probably go like. I'd probably say 1. I'll stick with your kind of ranking. So like 1, 4, 6, 2, 3, 5. That's what I'm going.
Right. So let's take this segment and extract it and release it as Val Verde's top 6 Rocky films. Step 4 equals profit, right? It's just that's all the money.
With a thumbnail with like an Illuminati symbol on it. It's revealed.
And both of us going like this. Stupid clickbait faces. Yeah. That's inspired much Rocky ranking in the.
What about the Creeds? Where do they slot in?
That's be really hard to because I really love them both, and I was sort of worried that they would therefore just usurp most of the Rockies, and I don't really want to go down that route. I really like them both. I really liked Creed 2. I really liked the kind of thematic stuff. I think Creed 1 is better, but the kind of thing about fathers and sons. And I really liked what they'd done with Drago, Bridget Nielsen, and his son, and Drago's relationship to Rocky.
I think Creed 2 is way better than it has any business being. It's one of those things where it's like, it almost feels like an accident. Like Stallone's kind of like, I don't know, and everyone's like, "Wow, it's amazing." He's like, "Yeah." Because the only thing I'll say for those 2 films is, I feel it's a cop out that they didn't kill Rocky. Like, don't set up that he's got cancer and then go essentially do a training montage where he beats cancer.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that's a cop out. But apart from that, I think they're really lovely films, and they're really, they're really they've got a lot of heart. Those films, and what's his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
I really kind of felt like. Because the cancer stuff was really good, but then like him surviving is like a bit of a cop out. But also, when I was watching it, I was like, I don't normally experience the full spectrum of human emotion, but I think my psyche will collapse if I have to watch Rocky die. I just like sat in the cinema, just like, don't die, Rocky, even though arguably you should have done quite some time ago. Because that was the thing. Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, I believe, came up with that and had to go to Stallone as the owner of Rocky Things and pitch it to him, and he liked their pitch. Right. And then Coogler didn't come back for 2. Someone else directed that because he was off doing Black Panther, I think, or something. I don't know, but there's
so many stories like that in Hollywood as well. Like people are like, I wrote it and then I just took it to Stallone, as if like you can just rock up to his house and go, "Hey,
ding dong,
check this out," and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got 5 minutes. I'm gonna sit down and read it." It sounded like Rodney Dangerfield. What am I talking to? But you know what I mean. But Whereas like when I think about it here, it's like I don't know. Like, what if I rung my agent up and went, "Can you get me a meeting with, I don't know, name a famous British actor, producer."
Jason Isaacs.
Okay, well,
I
actually, do you know
panicked. I
someone who
panicked.
knows
I
him?
panicked. Oh, okay. No.
But yeah,
Robin Asquith of the Confessions films.
okay. Is he dead?
No, he's got a Twitter.
Okay.
He posted a tweet about him getting stoned of Jimi Hendrix. But anyway,
The next person I was going to go to who popped into my head was Ken Cranham, but we do know people who know him.
we do know.
Well.
Yeah, we do.
And I'm supposed to play a young him in a thing, so no.
Oh yes. No. This is a really bad demonstration. There's no way in for ordinary people like. There's no way in for ordinary people like us. No, that's a bad example because we know him and not him because I.
No, I do know people who know Jason Isaacs as well. Damn it. Although I'm not saying I can get anything to him. That's not the point. Let's say, Ian McKellen. I don't think I do no degrees of separation from him. So if I said to my agent, "Can you get me round Ian McKellen's to read the pitch in a script?" It would just be crickets. Like, I don't understand how. I mean, I guess Michael B. Jordan and other people had clout at that point.
Him and Coogler had done things, so they had a bit of, they were in, I think, and they were both kind of hot young things at the time. So I think that's when you're able to just be like, "Yo, give me a meeting with me." That's him getting a meeting with himself. I don't know what I'm doing.
Give me a meeting with Stallone. You are Stallone.
The thing is, I think when you work for him, you probably do have to deal with that kind of stuff quite a lot. It's just I want to make an adaptation of First Blood, and it's like, you did that 40 years ago. So I want to do it again, and then he just forgets because he goes to Dr. Terrapin, and then he's concerned with that.
You know that like the lives of those people is so like you must feel like you're on eggshells the whole fucking time. So these people who work for like I've always said this. Not that it amounts to a hill of shit. Like I'm always like, I don't think I'd want to work with Ridley Scott because he just apparently, by all accounts, he's really like just capricious and difficult and gives you orders that don't make sense. And then when you try it, it's the I told you to shave those sideburns. It's like that thing, and it's just like I couldn't work with someone like that who you just don't know if he's going to flip out and fire you, or like Tarantino or someone,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's just I don't think I could do it. I don't know because I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity, but that's not the point,
Right.
Brad's like that as well. Just scoop that. Brad's really difficult. I'll say he loves just firing me for no reason and then hiring me back.
That's true.
Which was difficult on the first thing I worked with him on because we were only there for a day. So it's about to-ing, fro-ing.
It all happened before lunch. Fired, yes. Back in. You're fired. You're hired. He's J.K. Simmons in Spider-Man. That's what Brad's like.
Yeah. Grows a moustache. It's very weird.
Oh God, I'm jealous of your beer now. I decided against drinking tonight.
If I could send you one, mate, I've got a cool bag here with them in. I would just send you some. You should have said had I known in advance, I would have just ordered you some and send it.
That's nice. No, it's fine. I could have done it myself. I had a little bit of drink from the weekend, which I had last night for my spooky game stream. Then I thought, perhaps just don't. What I get pissed on Thursdays, and I'm out of sync with Ivan, who works weeks. He works Monday to Friday. So I get me pissed on Thursdays, and Friday night I don't want to drink, so I'm hungover from the stream quite often.
Have you emptied your whiskey cabinet then?
Yep.
That's dry.
Well, it's kind of like there's a bunch of the whiskeys. The whiskeys never last long. It goes one bottle at a time usually. So the whiskeys, the other stuff is just kind of like weird. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, a bit of Advocaat. Exactly, yeah. Which you, in a real pinch, probably would, out of desperation, sit and drink. It's just a kind of
dry.
Yes, it's just desperation booze in there now, particularly lockdown Christmas, because the whiskies. I had to call time a lot of the whiskies because some of them I was just doing that thing where I'd had them for years and there was like an inch in the bottom, and it's like, what are you saving that for? So they've become, a lot of them. Oh, that's just Maker's Mark, but a lot of them have become lanterns. That's my current technique. My whiskey bottles become lanterns in this house. I just bung them full of Christmas lights. It seems in
brightest day, in blackest night.
No whiskey shall escape my sight. Let's do a quick hello to who's here.
Yes,
we'll do that. I think I didn't do that last week. Let's have a look. Aaron Dry, Ben Reddings, Benny Legend, Brian Shields, Dan Lars, Doug Wanacott, Ewan Callister, Floyd 75, Dylan, James Atkinson, James Hughes, Mr. HEC, Phil Rob 1978, Punch It Bishop, Rob Myers, Ross Sanders, Ryan Ricardo, Steve Allen, Tim 2YC. Not many chatters at the minute. 98 people in the room. People are like popping into chat going, give me a shout. And that's when they turn up on the participant list, you see.
My dad didn't show up on that though, and he has said something in the chat.
He has. He may have slung his hook for a bit. I don't know. This stupid, unreliable chat thing. John Doe just popped up. Ryan Swayze just popped up. Emerald Sky just popped up. So we got a wild Ewan Callister appears. Yeah, this participants thing's a load of dog shit. Give us your hellos, guys. I see ya.
Just checking PayPal. PayPal. We got our regular £10 from Andrew Capitz. Thank you very much, Andrew. Andrew. I don't know why. Michael Small sent us 10 British American pounds and says, "Hey chaps, thanks again for another live stream, and also cheers to Richard for the nice message and reading my Star Trek blog/rant. It was therapeutic to write. Annalise and I have made a podcast about Discovery, which we'll pass along if you are interested."
Put it in the Patreon. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to hear that.
Annalise also sent us £10. Guys, you're a household now. You can pull your reasons.
You're in a bubble. You just send one. You don't have to do it twice. It's cool. But thank you. Not ungrateful, of course.
Thank you. Hey guys, funny story for you. Michael and I have been rewatching the old streams lately. Apparently too often, because I had a dream last week that I logged on to the first video lecture of my PhD, and Richard was the professor. Still don't know what the course was about. Pooing, probably.
Profligacy and pooing. That's my...
Battles.
And battles.
Oh, well, that's interesting. You're in her dreams now, Richard.
Yeah, I think many people have said that, but usually in a bad way.
Chased by Richard.
Yeah, some sort of like Haddonfield, Michael Myers situation where some bald cunt is chasing you around your cul-de-sac. It's no
brandishing a, I don't know, tire iron.
I'm loving the clearly both you and I are quite low energy tonight.
Sorry.
No, I've done it as well. I just sort of go, I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's so hard to do.
Yeah. Oh crap! They certainly should have said it's illegal. It's alright. Yes, what was I going to say? I don't know. Something humorous, probably. Fuck.
It's
tire iron. Why did I say tire iron? Tire iron is an Americanism, and it means like wheel brace, which is that seems like no one in the English language knows to come up with the tool you use for removing your wheel nuts from your car. But tire iron, it has nothing to do with the tire, and I guess maybe in the old days it was made of iron, but that's like saying, bottle glass that I'm drinking beer from a bottle.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like, in terms of Americanisms, and I don't want to go down this road particularly in an antagonistic way, but it's like trash can. It's like can for trash. But we already had bin. It's just it's more efficient.
Waste paper basket.
Annalise says she woke up screaming from her dream, which seems about right. I am a repugnantly vile and scary man. Some more people have appeared. I see Adrian Mendoza, Michael himself's in, Benny Legend, Lakey Bloke Brewery, which I'm not sure I recognise. Mark Garside. I saw Otto Sump. I saw Petter Danielson. I saw Carl Goddard. Omar, of course. Ken King. Julian Y2K12, the 2012 Julian. Philip the Casey. Positron Glider. Henok Gebragergus. Sorry. I tried my best. Boeing 615, James Hughes, Doug Wanacott, all these people, all this nice team. 102 people in for some punching action with Rocky 4.
My dad says the tire iron was the lever to pull the tire over the wheel rim. Yeah, I know, but I've also had people refer to the wheel brace as a tire iron. So maybe, I don't know, it's whatever.
Oh God. Okay, look, I've just remembered I've got some chilled lemon style nade downstairs, so I'm gonna go grab that, and you can talk about tire irons with your dad, which I think is what everyone's tuning in for. So give me a minute.
All right. Richard doesn't want to be in any way sober for this. Bicolour prawns. It's £2. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, Paulie. Thank you. Is that what the robot says? The robot. Stallone wrote this while he was filming Rambo 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Although didn't. Yeah. Weird thing about it, Rambo 2 is such a weird film. It's the one that's often referred to. Well, it's the sort of Rambo film of reference, isn't it? But it's like it's just is the shit. Dan Lyles, Duncan, have you swam with the pigs in the Bahamas? I have, yes. I've also swam with sharks in the Bahamas and iguanas. So there you go. Yeah, no, the Hog Island, as it's called, which isn't, it's not actually an island called Hog Island, but they have them in the exhumas. Because I believe the Spaniards, who were Spanish pirates, came and brought them. I think that's why they're not indigenous, but they were brought over in the whatever hundreds. And there you go. That's my Bahamian history is sorely lacking because I didn't grow up there. But yes, I have swam with the pigs.
You swam with the pigs?
Yeah, I thought I just as you sat down. Dan Lars asked me if I had swum with the pigs in the Bahamas, because I mean it seems to be a thing that's really talked up now in like with this what are they called, tour what was it called, holiday packages. Anyway, people tend to refer to the Bahamas as like, oh, you go swimming with the pigs on Hog Island, it's like they're not on one island. They're like kind of scattered about the place. But like where I went swimming anyway, it was in the exhumas. Yeah, they're hogs. They're like these fat hogs that a lot of people give beer to, which is bad. And they just swan about on the islands. They're not indigenous. They were dumped there by Spanish pirates, I believe. And there you go. But yeah, and they just roam about. And
I had no idea that was a thing. I'd never heard of that in my life. Your dad says Hog Island was formerly called Allen Key, which pleases me quite a lot.
Yes, well, Allen Key's still there. I think there is still an Allen Key, which is hilarious. For partridge and tool reasons.
Yes, indeed.
But there we are.
I had no idea you could enjoy aquatic pursuits with pigs in the Bahamas. That's what I was today years old, is what young people say when they learn a new thing. Because they're awful. But I was today years old when I learned that. So we've got 5 odd minutes until kickoff. This is included in Amazon Prime if you're in the UK. So it's included in your Amazon Prime subscription. I've got a feeling that rather a lot of you have got your own copy of Rocky IV queued up to some degree. So it might be worth actually, when we go in, maybe if we go on the MGM logo or something. Well, that's the first thing you see, I think, on our copy. You're on Prime as well, right? Watching it?
Yeah.
So at the start of the movie, there's an MGM lion. Here's a bit of trivia. Did you know they bought a unique line for every film and immediately shot it when they were done filming The Raw?
Shot it. They locked it in a room and played the Wilhelm scream over and over again.
That was the decadence of old Hollywood. There was one lion. Oh dear. Oh, he's off. He's already.
Yeah, sorry, it's only my iPad needs replacing because it just does things without. Anyway, there we go. Right, yeah, I'm all teed up. Yeah, it is the first thing that comes up.
Well, that's nice and easy. Not a long one. Omar's saying, did you know there is a Casey time zone?
No.
Where's the Casey time zone, Omar? It's around Duncan's house.
Yeah,
so many watches, it just drags time in like a black hole with light. Yeah.
I think it's my wife's timetable that I'm constantly out of sync with.
Right. Oh, yeah. My friend Dan, him and his partner had their first daughter this week.
Oh, they have a son.
Weirdly, no, they don't. First child, who is a girl, happens to be a girl. A few months apart from you, same age as us. Name starts with a D. What's going on? Synchronicity.
Could be. It's the Casey triangle.
Yes, sure. Why not? So that's to my friend Dan Pierce. So we met in hotels, and he got written up in the paper one week, and they called him Local Chef Dan Pierce. So I've called him Local Chef Dan Pierce for the last 12 years, because I can't just call him by his name. So that's my shout out to Local Chef Dan Pierce. The Casey time zone is in Antarctica, says Omar.
Oh,
so there you go.
Well, I'm not going there.
So it looks rubbish. It's so cold.
But but very good. I didn't know that. Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, you got your own time zone.
I do, which is
It's unusual. Yeah. So get your copy of Rocky's. Get your copy of Rocky ready. We did. Sorry, private. There's a private watch party on Sunday night, which I mentioned the game stream yesterday. That's with me. And if you are $5 and up on Patreon, you just go and put your suggestion under the post that I put up a couple of days ago. Then I put that in a random name picker on a website, and then that's how we watch the film. I know I must put Hard Boiled in there, which I'm not going to lie, I'd quite like Hard Boiled to win. But there's a few other suggestions in there as well. So if you want to take part, if you're not already on Patreon, you can drop a $5, then or $5 actually, not even 5 real monies. And
5 Joe Biden.
5 Biden bucks. And yeah, you know, you can come watch that with us on Sunday night.
I at some point will need to do a Q&A for Patreon this month, which I will try and get sorted soon. And then I think next month, what are we aiming for? Which leads me neatly onto the plug that I need to do. That I promised I would just before we start. That maybe I will do a Wicked Witches commentary type, watch along type thing for Patreon. What I needed to plug actually is that the distributors of Wicked Witches, or the Witches of Dumpling Farm, basically have absconded with the film. I heard from the director today who said that basically they've screwed him over and buggered off and owe him a load of money. So what he's done is he's put it on his YouTube channel. So if you go to Martin Pickering on YouTube, you'll find it, or just put in Martin Pickering Witches or something like that, you'll find it. And he's put the whole film on there to watch for free. The only thing is that he needs to. The film itself has got sort of over 40,000 views on it, but we need to get his subscriber count over 1,000 so that he can monetize it. He's at around 500, I think, at the moment. So he just needs another 500 subs, and then he can start making some money from it. Because basically, he was supposed to see some profits from it by now, and the distributors have just screwed him and disappeared off into the ether. And apparently, they've done it with a bunch of other people as well.
Lovely.
So that sucks, exploiting, indie filmmakers, and this was his first feature film. And look, it's a really low budget indie film, but you know what? If you guys can go and check it out, it really helps. And if you wouldn't mind throwing him a subscribe, he doesn't post a lot on his channel. It's just like his director showreel and bits and bobs. He did a video with Dua Lipa. That's on there if you want to go check that out. Whatever. He just, all his directorial stuff is on there. But yeah, it would just really help if you could subscribe and help get him over that 1,000 mark.
And what was the name of his channel? Was it just his name?
It's just his name, yeah. So if you just put in, I think there is another. There's a Martin Pickering that does like aerobatics or something, or like is a pilot, which is really annoying because he's got a really popular channel, so it's really hard to find. But if you put Martin Pickering, like Witches or whatever, then it should pop up, or director or something, or film. You should find it quite easily. So yeah, Martin Pickering.
There you
go check him out.
Also, Erica is on iOS now.
Yes, Erica's on iOS. We've had really good reviews. There's been 1 or 2 bad or negative reviews, or like sort of 2 or 3 stars, but people have written on it, and it does say on the front page, like basically it's free to play the first 5 minutes, and then it's $2.99 for the full game.
$2.99, you greedy bastards!
But the people who put negative stuff, so I really loved it, but then they made us pay for it. And it's like, it says on there like play the first 5 minutes for free kind of thing. It's like the all in-app purchase stuff and everything, and it's like people so it's got downrated for that, but it's still at like 4.8 out of 5 on iOS. So go check it out if you don't want to spend the money, just go check out the first 5 minutes and leave us a hopefully decent review. That'd be really helpful. But
someone is posting in the chat under as Nowhere Fast Productions, and they've got some things to say about useless distributors. I'm not sure if that person wants me to say who they are, but it's under their production name. It's under your production name, so I know who that is. Well, yes, so do I. Maybe Marcus Wright, who is the
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Marcus Wright, the protagonist from Terminator Salvation. So anyway, It's 7:32, so we're a little over. Should we queue up our copies of Rocky 4?
Yeah.
Okay, darlings, everybody at home, get your copy of Rocky 4 ready. I'm going to give you a little bit of grace period and do a thing with my hand, and then I'll count down from 8, and I'll say go. 7. He's put I am Mark Price. Great, fine. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Mark's announced himself. That's fine. I was just like, he's talking about shit producers, and I was kind of distributors, and I was kind of like, oh god, should I say who it is? Well, that's Mark Price in the chat. If you want to speak to a director in the chat, there he is.
Yeah,
there he is.
Yeah.
Well, they've been talking to Mark about Rocky 4 since Saturday. So it's kind of like, I'm watching Rocky 4 with my mates tonight. Oh, lads. And
it has become the sort of poster child in a way of the Rocky films. Obviously, Rocky is sort of this, you can't really touch it, the original, but
yeah.
Of then the sequels, this is probably the one that slowly kind of stood out from all the others.
It's proper kind of post-crash. The 70s one is proper post-crash Hollywood 70s movie, and it's it's a literal underdog story, but it's also, a real life underdog story because they didn't want Stallone to star in it and stuff, and he had to like sell his dog to write the script or whatever. What I like about this, because this is the height of Rocky's excess, isn't it? This is the most insane,
I was going to say, the Rocky films really reflect Stallone as well. Like, this is him in the height of his like own fart huffing arrogance. You know what I mean? It's just that sort of like real, like, and it doesn't look like Rocky anymore. Like in this film, he looks like Stallone. It's all about him looking lean and ripped and shit. And it's like, that's not what Rocky was. You know what I mean? In the first one, it's not. It's not it's not him peacocking. It's like it's fucking.
Do you feel that he kind of do you feel like he lost the character a little bit by here? Because I definitely find by like 3 and 4, because then by 5 he goes way too far back in the direction, trying to be 1970s Rocky.
5 is like him doing a sort of parody of, not parody, but like a sort of, like you say, it's like it's like dialed up to 11 and it's really noticeable. Whereas he gets it again by 6, obviously, and the Creed movies. But I just think that this was the height of like Stallone arrogance. Yeah. What's the actress's name from Cliffhanger who did that whole speech about what a piece of shit he was?
Oh, I don't know her name. Yeah, but that was ugly, right? That was
yeah.
Well, it's why I've always really, really, really liked Balboa, because it's easy to forget because it's not like Stallone's a megastar again, but he had to claw a fuck of a lot back. Like, he had to claw so much back to get where he is now. And he went and he self-funded Rocky Balboa and went and made it, more or less made it himself, on locations and stuff. It was really cheap film, and it's all about him admitting to his mistakes and just talking about, how stupid he's been and how he's wasted these opportunities and things. And then, everything that came after that, like The Wrestler and JCVD and all these kind of old man returns movies, really owe that to Rocky Balboa, I think. And Rocky Balboa is just this really, really wonderfully sort of honest and candid picture of his life at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I suppose if he's the pre-generator of that, it's mainly because he was the first one to take the hit. You know what I mean? Like, was he the first one to kind of cock it all up as well? You know what I mean? It seems like the normal progression of those sort of the 80s action stars is to do that. It's to sort of implode and need to claw it back. I mean, I'm waiting for Bruce Willis's one, but we'll see.
Well, he's funny, isn't he? Because he's just constantly working. So it's like, and the thing is, he seems to get away with doing shite as well. He does some really ropey shit, and like by the shovelful, and we just sort of don't notice.
Yeah, it is. My wife put something on the other day which had him all over the sort of the thumbnail and whatever on Netflix, and it was the worst film ever. He just popped up in it at points and sort of sneered at the rest of the cast and then fucked off again. And it was just like we turned it off like halfway through. And I don't like being mean about other people's films, so I won't name it, but Yeah, we were just like, what is this shit?
There's a lot of those, and they're always called kind of like First Reckoning, Blood Debt, or whatever. And it's got him just going
Seagal's level of toilet.
Yeah, I just they seem to come at it from different angles. I mean, like, because like Schwarzenegger started to go off. Schwarzenegger started to dip, but then he kind of went, "Oh, actually, I'm going to be in the most expensive film of all time," and then go into politics. So people sort of forgot that he'd started to sort of.
Yeah, he was saved from it, I think, because he went into being a governor. You know what I mean? Whereas, yeah, had he not, I think he probably would have done the same thing. And that's what arguably kind of has. Like, he kind of has started doing stuff that's, you see him popping up on the odd thing that's just like, what was that thing about Get Something or whatever, Get Gunter or something? And it's just like,
I watched that. Yeah. I think Get Good, with the one where the fake documentary where they're all assassins. Yeah.
It's like I had to turn it off because I was just like, this is.
I saw it out. It's the robot, and also Paulie Loki wants to fuck the robot. That's as soon as the robot flirts with Paulie, he's kind of all like, "Look at it, it's so weird." Also,
it's got like a keypad for no apparent reason. It's like, what do you do with that?
Well, it also
bang.
The way the robot behaves, it does seem to imply that artificial intelligence exists in the Rocky universe. It's like,
it's also got like a search and destroy light on it, like or searchlight.
Well, that bit's done. That's really sinister the way that's directed. That bit, because that is not a good cake either. Like, who is that on the cake?
The doiliest of shit.
The Burt Young special quadruple chocolate.
Hello, Paul. I made you a cake of the cabbie from Billy's in Inn.
That's a deep cut. Deep cut.
Deep cream. Milk.
Look, hold on. It's not a good time to be Annalise. As someone who's not seen the Rocky films, I know. Can someone please explain the robot to me? There you go, no, Michael. That's your evening, mate. There's no explanation, at least. That's why it's funny in so many ways. Kevin J.
Whose birthday is it? Oh, sorry, go on.
Paulie's birthday, I think. Unless
so why is he bringing Adrian a cake?
Paulie and Adrian are twins. This is what I mean about the insane excess of this film. Like, everything about it is.
I made you a cake too. It's for you, but it's really themed about me. What's Adrian? I'll be like,
this is the time I beat you up at our wedding. Oh, I love it. It's Kevin J. James just. Kevin J. James, the star of Paul Blart Mall Blart, just dropped us 5 USD, or US dollars as they're now called. One thing Rocky 3 has over 4 is that it's 95% original footage, whereas 4 is 80% new material, and 4 is only 90 minutes. It is true, there's quite a lot of flashing back in this, and also montages. But I think it's short but sweet. I mean, because I just to be clear, I unironically love this film. I'm not kind of sneering at it. Like, always have time to put this on, watch it, and enjoy it. Like,
it's the shortest one. Yeah, it is the shortest film. Yeah. Dude, I think it's one of those things where you kind of where you go like the first one again. Like I say, it's kind of unassailable. I think it's an example of we did say all we needed to say with Rocky, and especially with like Stallone's sort of thing about like, I cut it like because there was extra stuff towards the end. That's where the poster comes from of them walking out of the ring. The stuff there was extra foot. It wasn't supposed to end that way, but he was like, I realized when I was cutting it that actually I wanted to end it at his peak, because after that, after that one moment, it's all like winding down, and which makes so much sense. And it's like thematically, meta, whatever. It's all there. And so to then just go on and on and on afterwards, it's because they've taken on, like I said, they've taken on another kind of meaning to them as well. And so yeah, Carl Weathers, man,
he's so cool, isn't he? He's so fucking cool, man. He's in
such banging shape as well, the bastard.
Oh, dude, he's stacked, man. It's crazy. Like,
he doesn't get enough respect for that as well. Like, that dude was in the best shape of like toe to toe with the main Predator and stuff like that. It's like he never gets mentioned in any of that. And it's like the dude is insane in it. Like,
yeah, well, and he and he has to stand next to fucking Dolph Lundgren a bit, and he still looks good. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And Dolph Lundgren, we'll get to Dolph. That's a whole other discussion, isn't it? But I think it's quite funny because this film barely uses Bill Conti's Rocky theme. Like, it's at the end, I think, but it kind of.
Bill Conti didn't do music. That's why I think.
Vince DiCola did this one. I'll get. I was just some stuff to say about that actually, but what you're saying about kind of going out on a peak, I think that piece of music really helps swell to a peak, and then you just sort of. And I kind of that end scene in Rocky where the music swells and like they come into the ring and stuff. You can't really go. What do you do after that? What would be the point in having them walking out the ring or whatever? Vince DiCola also did the music to the Transformers movie, as in the animated one. And Mark pointed out to me, which I hadn't noticed myself, but Mark pointed out the other day. So let's explain the Transformers animated film to Duncan, who I'm sure is thrilled to be here.
Just two Lamborghinis. What's that? Montage.
Is he wearing some like hyper expensive watch as well?
Well, he does. I don't know what he's wearing there, but I know in Rocky 2. That's why Rocky 2 ranks higher for me, is because he buys a gold Rolex.
Oh, you said that earlier.
No, it's not really why. But he does. I think it's a gold version of this, which is a GMT.
Well, for my part, then, in terms of kind of fashion and ownership type things, I love his Italian Adidas here, but there's also like loads of Soviet Adidas later, which there's like loads of Adidas in this film. I think he wears like a black and gold Rocky Adidas later. He's got his Italian flag Adidas, and then there's loads of red and gold Soviet Adidas for Drago's team later. The tricolor. So Transformers the movie has a character played by Orson Welles called Unicron, and his theme tune is very similar to Drago's theme. This is kind of like ding 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 ding, this sort of electronic, because Vince DiCola's kind of a new wavy type dude. Maurice Conti, obviously. I will punch you in the dick. Or Mother Russia. I must break your dick.
This whole thing is like, so the Mother Russia is what the state has decreed. They must snap your dick.
Snap it. In Soviet Russia, dick punches you.
It's fucking Yakov Smirnoff.
He wrote this. He wrote this screenplay.
Yakov Smirnoff wrote Rocky 4.
Drago's based on him. So actually, Dan Lyles has just reprised something that he said in the preamble that I caught. That Dan Lyles is the king of bringing up good Billy bullshits. He said at his school there was a rumor that Ivan Drago was a robot man, and as he just pointed out, this scene is probably why, because there's all the kind of sciencey, and all the stuff about how much he can punch, and the fact he behaves like a Terminator and stuff. It's like, yeah. I mean, Rocky fighting a robot is set up in this film by having a robot. And having the guy who scored the Transformers film to come and do the music. It's like Rocky fights a robot in the next one.
Well, he kind of does in isn't it in Balboa, where it's like it's a VR, not VR, but like a kind of
computer simulation. I believe they used the engine because there was a couple of Rocky games in that period. There's like Rocky. They're supposed to be quite good, the Rocky games, but I think they use some of the graphics from the Rocky game or something to do those sequences. Because they do a simulation. Don't they simulate like? Well, we're kind of saying even Rocky in his prime couldn't beat this kid. I think is the thing in Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, this is the Adrian Mendoza says tungsten.
They found me in a meteor. I need tungsten to live. Tungsten. Alan Key, there you go, brings it all back around.
I do think Paulie's my spirit animal, drinking his he's got his ice cream.
His can of lager out of a champagne flute with a tub of ice cream.
In a vest.
Yeah.
Paulie's living my lockdown life.
Yeah.
Apollo doesn't need collars. Collars are for losers.
I have where is it? I got bought a collarless shirt by my mum for Christmas, and I just don't get on with them, so I was going to take it back. But now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, now you see Apollo in one. You want one? I always, even though I've seen this, fuck knows how many times, and I know where it's going. I just don't want Apollo to die. It's just no.
Yeah, it's a gut punch, man. It really is, especially as you've seen him kind of go from rivalry to buddies and. I can't remember why Rocky's got loads of money in this, because he lost it all into. I can't remember in 3 where he sort of somehow gets all his money
guess
back.
beating Clubber. That means he wins a prize and he's rich. Because then by 5 he's lost it all again. It does fucking. Rocky's life just spirals so hard. Like it's.
Never heard of like shrewd investments.
I mean, he doesn't seem.
Never heard of financial planning. It's just that.
Like I really got to be careful how I phrase this because I don't mean to be cruel or insensitive, but in the first Rocky movie, both Rocky and Adrian are played as if they have like learning difficulties or something. Both of the characters do that, and I'm being fully serious. That's not a cheap joke, but they're both kind of like in different ways, and but then that characterization just sort of goes. Like for Stallone, it comes back. It doesn't come back for Adrian because she's fucking dead. But for Rocky, he kind of like
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit. Yeah, Talia Shah's. Talia. I can't say her name now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Shire. Anyway, Shire. Thank you. Is obviously a very competent, very good actress, but she's and that's what kind of makes, she's really mousy, and it's like one of those things where you kind of go, well, like Rocky could have brought it out of her, I suppose. But like you say, by this, it's like she's just like, somehow fluent in Latin, and she's like, it's just like, you're totally good.
According to my calculations, you couldn't possibly be Drago.
I wrote a computer simulator with the robot.
There's a deleted scene where she builds the robot. She's like fucking Anakin Skywalker building C-3PO.
We made the space shuttle in our spare time.
Find him on the moon where there's less gravity.
I've made a sphere for you to find it on the moon. But yeah, like again, this is what I mean. This is Rocky filtered through the, smug Stallone phase. It's not
right.
What Rocky was at all, and that's why I suppose when you're gonna, I think this represents the kind of if you're gonna do the Rocky films, it's like I guess it would be an inverse thing, because it is really it marks the kind of, though 5 is worse, this marks the kind of way low point. Weirdly, it's because it leans into all the things that Rocky shouldn't, in a way.
Yeah, because it's on a global scale, and it's this.
But it's sort of like the arrogant notion that Rocky could end the Cold War by punching Dolph Lundgren in the bush. It's like, no. It's just sort of extrapolated. The one man's. He had one goal. The whole point was it was just like one dude from nowhere who just had one singular dream, which was to go the distance with the champion. Didn't even have to win. All that stuff, and now he's like a millionaire who wants to go and punch communism down.
And his personality's changed, and his delivery has changed. It's look, because I really love it, and I do think if you view it, I like to watch I view the Rocky films through the lens of they reflect what's going on in Stallone's life, and this is the insane high arrogance of as you've already said. And things like, because they obviously had Eye of the Tiger was a big hit for Rocky 3, but they bring back Survivor for this one, which no one remembers. People always remember Hearts on Fire instead. And I think they play do they play that song? I think he has another thing where he goes out for a drive in his fancy car and his fancy motorbike and stuff. It's kind of like, how is this a Rocky film?
He's contemplating life from his Lamborghini.
From his Lamborghini, yeah.
I mean, not that one can't do that, I suppose.
Okay, I thought for a minute that he's wearing like a kind of like albino snakeskin jacket, but I think it's like a knitted thing. Rocky, I mean, he's wearing like a white sort of suit.
I didn't see. Wait.
We'll see again in a minute. Look, it's just his head poking out. I really like. I will say this actually about this film, because it's about like obviously East versus West and everything, but it's not kind of like smash the commies. It's not like an adjutant film. It is kind of like suing for world peace. It's quite kind of even keeled in a lot of ways. It's not kind of like some crazy. It's not a propaganda film, I wouldn't say, like a lot of films this era are. It's quite kind of even-handed in a lot of ways. And at the end, the kind of Soviets aren't shown to be villainous. I mean, they are shown to have... They're kind of the bullies because they have the edge, right? And they use all the science and stuff. but it's never kind of like, because I think the character Bridget Nielsen and the other guy are kind of like, oh, how come we're the villains? Take a look at yourselves for once and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, okay, that's quite even-handed. Because I think
that's like a hop sack jacket in like some awful twill. Like, I don't know.
Looks like, what is it called? Something sack jacket.
Is it hop sack?
Oh, yeah, I would know.
Hop sack is a particularly loose type of weave
because it looks like sack.
Sags,
not in a scroty way.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is hop sack. I think it's it's just a sort of, it's one of those like it's a sort of random blend of like, it's got like black weave, like black thread woven into it. I don't know what you call that pattern, but it's deeply unpleasant.
It's really horrible, isn't it? It's really horrible. Drago's a fucking great villain. He's such a good villain. Like, and it's a great bit of stuff by I mean, because fucking Dolph Lundgren, man's got presence, not just because of his height, but he's just so imposing, and he does that kind of, because he's a character that people speak for him all the time, right? He very rarely gets to speak for himself.
Yeah, and I can't remember in this if you get any of those sort of moments of because that's absolutely right, and I think certainly in Creed or Rocky 4 too.
Thank you.
You get much more of a sense of like where he's from and like how broken he is. Like, and again, it's representative of the Soviet Union, right? He's very much like, it reminded me a lot of Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2. Right. He's like crying, sort of old, beaten up, I guess Chernobyl like apartments.
Yeah, they live in a shit kind of like concrete stack up, don't they, and everything.
And the point of that is to try and put them in the kind of Rocky, because again, this is the whole thing of it. Like, this is what is weird about this, is just like the Soviets are shown to be the technologically advanced ones, and the American, if you like, has to use like run around.
He does the folksy old kind of back to nature thing, doesn't he?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I do think like Creed 2 does definitely, because doesn't it have stuff? It has stuff in there about like Drago and Bridget Nielsen were like a thing. And then, because there's animosity between the two. Isn't the son their son?
Yeah, I think it's their son, but they're not together anymore. She's with someone else.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember if they have dialogue together, but there's that bit of that kind of dinner scene where they just kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
And
they have a moment together in like a corridor somewhere. But again, it's like, it's so well observed, that, because it's so well kind of like, it's sparing, but it says so much about them. And I'm like, that's what you need from this stuff, it's like, it takes what was in so many ways like a pantomime villain, like in this film, and gives him like massive depth in the most brief. That is perfect, like screenwriting, when you take something like that and you distill it, you really boil it down to its bare bones, and that's all you need, and it's much more powerful.
It's so good. And because like a lot of like, keeping in mind, a lot of, okay, so I don't speak Russian, but like a bunch of Drago's dialogues in Russian. And you can just read on his face, like, it's a really good performance, and I love that
he ain't Russian either, by the way. Like,
yeah, well, because he's fucking Swedish, right? So like and he's an immensely intelligent, educated man as well, Dolph Lundgren, which is always worth remembering. But yeah, that performance was fantastic, and his whole kind of line was like, I gave everything to my country, and then they pinned everything I had on you, and that wasn't my choice. And I went along with it, and look what it did to me. It destroyed me, and now all I've got is my son. And he's going through this thing, because it's all fathers and sons, isn't it? In Creed 2, particularly, because he goes back and sees his son at the very end. Rocky does, and obviously Stallone,
that's right,
own son, committed suicide not that long ago. Creed, Apollo is
Did he
dead.
commit suicide, or was he? I thought he died in a car crash.
No, they commit suicide, I believe. Sage Stallone, yeah, it's horrible.
I didn't realise that. That's awful.
I like this as well. This is where they make Drago look small, and there's really great performance from him, because he's not used to this. Where he comes from.
It's his sort of. It's almost a birth scene, isn't it? He's being birthed into capitalism, effectively. Right. Like he's being birthed into the West, and
it's like the blinding light of it all and stuff, and
delivered into this sort of excessive fucking.
To talk briefly about James Brown and Paulie's robot, which is my big bone of contention. So they basically exactly recreate the video for Living in America here. He's wearing the same costume, the dancers are wearing the same costume. It was on the soundtrack. The album came out like the same year. because after the robot talk last night, I had to investigate. I was just like, I need to know, and I was unable to turn out. But very clearly, this is like a monetary tie-up to James Brown's album. You know, so oh no, Stone died of a heart attack. I thought he committed suicide. Everybody's saying he died of heart attack due to plaque build-up in his arteries.
Oh.
Sage Stallone died of coronary artery disease caused by atherosclerosis. I could have sworn he killed himself. Oh well. I'm glad someone said that right.
Put the beer down.
Just stop eating plaque off your teeth. Just brush it off and spit it out like everyone else. Don't be mad.
Stop ingesting it. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously, you never see Stallone. Like I think I follow Stallone on Instagram, or I see stuff on Instagram. And he's got his daughters.
Yeah.
I always just assumed he just had like 2 daughters or something.
Because Sage Stallone plays Rocky Jr. or whatever in 5, but not in 4. I think I've got that right. And then it's, you know, just that guy in. No offense to that guy, but it's that guy in Rocky Balboa.
The guy from Heroes. Yeah.
Oh, he's from Heroes. Okay.
Yeah, he was in Heroes.
Okay.
He showed up in loads of stuff for about 2 years and then did one.
Right.
Yeah.
Drago has the same look of vacancy as Trigger from Only Fools and Horses, says James Hughes.
An odd comparison.
Christ, is this the whole song? I guess it is. It lends more credence to they gave the robot to James Brown.
I just assumed, like, in normal conversation, James Brown shouted all the time.
Yeah, he was like that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, Eddie Murphy's impression of him is the funniest thing, because he's just like, what does he do that thing about, like, he's always turning around to his band, and then, like, he's like, can I get it? Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. The band, like, what's James saying? Like, I don't know, play. Let's play. What the fuck James said? Like, doesn't matter.
Oh, he's amazing. He was amazing, LJ.
Oh, God, yeah.
He was so fucking mover as well.
He did, like, 2 songs. That's all he's ever been known for, and yet, like, yeah, and he could move, and he was fucking cool. And he did, you know, I was a big fan of Dave Matthews Band, and they did Sex Machine with him.
Oh, with him,
thing, which is just brilliant. Yeah, man. They always crop up. Like, again, no one knows who the fuck they are in this country, but it's like there's like doing Superstition with Stevie Wonder, and like in, like, you know, it's like it's no one knows who they are here, but like, again, it's like they just work with all these amazing people, like on massive stages with massive crowds, and it's fucking cool.
Yeah,
they're my little cipher that no one knows about, except all of them.
Yes, well, but apart from that, see, look at the World Soviet Adidas going on in the background. Yeah. It's got like the CCCP on the back. Though weird, I had this conversation on Saturday. Though Drago's wearing like a 2-stripe, so like they wouldn't back Drago's ring wear, but his team are all wearing like official gear. You know, weird. And also, Rocky's lot are all wearing Hugo Boss shit. Like, it really is the most. This is the most excess film ever. Yes, exactly. That had Hugo Boss, like the Nazis. Yeah, I think because him, like Tony Burton, Rocky, and who else? There's 3 of them, and they're wearing color coordinated Boss kind of jumpers. So you know, Tony Burton's in the Cybertracker films. Just want to point that out. That's my link up. Right. This is just important that everybody knows that.
It is vital information.
This is very important.
Whip pan.
Don't stop booing him. How rude. Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I heard, someone will. Oh, actually, firstly, amazing face turn by Carl Weathers and Apollo Creed, because he's so likable in this film. And like in the first film, he's designed for you to hate him. But he just is like insanely likable. He's this ridiculously charismatic performer.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I think actually as well, I do think in the first film, like, he's set up to be relatable, if not likable, if that makes sense. Like, you can understand, like, he's the champ, he won't take this lying down. He's, you know what I mean? Like, he's the victim of arrogance or hubris, I suppose, but
he's based on Muhammad Ali in that regard, isn't he? Because he was all about his kind of swagger.
Yeah, exactly, and that's cool. Like, and you feel like here as well, because he's trying to bring it back, and you kind of like, we know you better than this now. So it almost sets you up to see him as being the underdog in this fight. But yeah, he's like, he's a fantastic performer. Like Carl Weathers, like, and again, I sort of wish he did more. Like, I wish I saw him in more stuff because it's like, I mean, he's in the Mandalorian, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been great in that. And he just turn up in things, but like, he's, for this character, and it's just a shame because you want him back, you want more of him, and I never want him to die. I'm always just like, no, don't. It's just stupid because I know what's going to happen.
But in a way, it's good that he goes out that way rather than like sort of just being sat there with Rocky and like Creed 5 going like, hello, Apollo. It's just like, when we fought that time 1,000,000 fucking years ago, yeah, if I can remember that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, well, I think they can squeeze another Creed film out, but they've got to kill Rocky at the end of it. It's like they've got. Yeah,
I think it's best for him if they do as well. I mean, because I cannot say how much I like those. And Michael B. Jordan,
me too,
is great.
Yeah, me too.
Because he's he channels a nice bit of Apollo's performance, but also he's kind of like the bastard child. And it's an act of kindness from Apollo's wife, Mrs. Huxtable, that brings him in, and she chooses to raise someone else's son. That scene in the orphanage is beautiful. It's so nice, and he's still got that kind of anger in him. So he didn't have it quite as well as his dad did, but and then they force him to wear his dad's shorts and stuff. He doesn't really want to do it. Like, it's lovely.
That's right.
Really good stuff, because they want their Drago versus Creed rematch, don't they? So like he has to fucking This is because apparently Dolph Lundgren didn't get on very well at all. Like, apparently Lundgren used to like actually hit him and stuff, and did actually nearly fuck him up or something at one point, and he stormed off. I think that's about the only trivia I know about this one. But like, I think Carl Weathers like had to be coaxed back onto set by Stallone to actually finish this stuff. Because he was just like, it's a piece of shit. Like, he's got to stop hitting this. But then apparently, like, Stallone went in for real with Lundgren as well in the later stuff and got the shit kicked out of him. Lundgren would actually punch his fucking head off. Like, when you watch them at the end, it's like, surely they're a different weight class. Like, surely he's like a head taller than him, because Lundgren's really fucking tall anyway, isn't he? Stallone's not terribly tall. I've stood next to a Stallone mannequin that was the mold used for the Stallone Dread film, and I was kind of like, oh, your eyes are like at my chin.
It's diminutive.
Yeah, diminutive. Have you seen this? One of my favorite. There's a couple of things that there are a couple of things that will always bring a smile to my face. One of them is Harry Hill playing the hornophone, which is a kind of horn apparatus where bicycle horns are assembled in pitch like a piano, and then two other people dressed as Harry Hill come on and they play the Animal Hospital theme tune on the hornophone. That always makes me happy. The other thing that makes me happy is there's a thing Dolph Lundgren did on Swedish TV about 10 years ago where he comes out in a tuxedo. He comes out in a tuxedo singing A Little Less Conversation by Elvis, and then he does a big drum solo, and then they bring out like some wooden blocks and some ice for him to karate chop. Then he finishes the song, and it's just like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, whenever I'm not feeling good, when I'm sad about Apollo Creed being dead, I watch his murderer playing a drum solo and chopping some ice with his hands.
A little less conversation, a little less, with more action. What I need.
It is. Bless him.
I mean, he's not the most gifted performer. I mean, I do think he's now. I think he's. Because don't forget, he's got a lot more. He can say a lot more with a look now. But yes. I do think he was never a particularly great actor. But that's
no.
He's one of those people who sort of transcends that, much like someone like. Well, actually, Roger Moore was a good actor, but I think he managed to sort of also get away with not being, and everyone still loved him. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, right. Roger Moore did turn in good performances, but anyway. But yeah, I think I just think Dolph Lundgren is one of those people who kind of like you just want to watch. As well as Schwarzenegger as well. He's got that thing of like not a particularly great actor, but he's charismatic and he's enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't think Lundgren ever.
Oh, is that a was it a split diopter?
Oh, I missed that. I was wistfully thinking about Dolph Lundgren. Shit.
Split diopter.
I've got to split diopter. Hey, come over, guys. Get some clogs. Get your clogs on, guys. It's time for split diopter. Yeah, you better go for...
He's in the ball, guys.
He's in the ball. Look, you're going to have a blood test if you're going to do a blood split diopter every day. It's too much. Come on. That's a callback to a thing from weeks ago, probably before Christmas. But there you go. That's just us saying split diopter in a Jack's accent. It makes us happy. So, you know.
So that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Here's your peek at the weird alternative Men in Black film with Sylvester Stallone.
Hey, look into this. It's just aimed at his own face.
The belt looks very plastic there, doesn't it? That's a very cheap.
But they are, though, aren't they? I mean, I believe they're not particularly...
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, I think they are.
Well, what I was going to say before we got into split diopter talk.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, Lundgren was never as good a performer as Stallone, despite having, let's say, similar disadvantages, perhaps. But because when he's good in things, he's really good. And he directs stuff as well. And like he's an actual like genius level polymath as well. He's like a Mensa guy, I think. He's like a really very intelligent man, and he's a chemical engineer, I think. By training.
Chemical engineering.
Yeah, and I think he's got multiple degrees and things. So, you know, he's a very clever dude. And I've seen some of his more recent films, and they were kind of a bit crap, you know, sort of straight to video stuff. But there's like, at least he was directing them and stuff. It's like, you know what, this guy's fucking doing what he wants to do, and that's kind of really lovely.
Yeah, more power to him. I mean, I dude's got a better career than I have. I mean, fuck, what do I know? But what did he do? The main one he did where they were trying to sort of make him out to be another kind of 80s action star. What was it? Scorpions?
Red Scorpion.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's where he plays the Spetsnaz guy.
Right. I think I've seen it once years ago. I
do like it because you can sort of pretend that that's set in the Rocky universe and that's Drago's code name or something. Because he plays like a kind of... I'm pretty sure he's a Spetsnaz guy that sort of goes rogue. It's just kind of like, yes, it's Drago. It's definitely Drago. God damn it. Oh, fuck off, X-Ray. It's quite nice. Amazon Prime X-Ray is quite nice, but also fuck off. I just moved my mouse by accident.
Did you know that Bridget Nelson actually has a face?
Her skeleton is covered in musculature and flesh. Her heart pumps blood around her body at approximately...
Though you wouldn't know it from recent pictures. She's not aged well.
That ironically looks like Skeletor. That's it, because Dolphin, that He-Man movie, that dreadful He-Man movie, I'm not accepting, you know, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
For wankers.
I'm not accepting any discussion of that dreadful He-Man movie of any form.
No.
He basically barely spoke English for that, so all his lines, well, most of his lines are like
phonetic,
yeah, so like idiot boards and stuff. You just feel sorry for him. Jesus Christ, because he looks the part.
Oh,
yes, Delano. He's got that fucking. His voice is so low register as well, isn't it? Like really.
Yeah.
If you see him now, because like he's, you know, over the years, obviously his English is superb now, and he just really charismatic, funny dude. You hear him talking interviews and stuff. So yeah, that was cool.
Basically, I was bumming Grace Jones, and then I was in
bumming Grace. You've created a kind of Dolph Lundgren as Forrest Gump. I just felt like punching.
Yeah, basically, yeah. My Duke
Rob Myers says, "Not pleasing to mine eye."
Years of sunbed abuse have rendered her not pleasing to mine eye. Just imagine these like feet and tits hanging out a sunbed. And a flat top out the top of it, right? So a flat top, a blonde flat top, bleached out the top, big feet out the bottom, and just tits either side.
A sort of glamorous pepperami.
Looks like a rubber chicken put in a George Foreman.
Fabulous insight and critical analysis.
Imagine if you will.
Imagine if you will. Oh.
Sort of like a condom toasty.
That's 2 for 2 weeks where you've made me nearly spit my drink out.
Sorry.
Fucking hell.
Oh,
Christ. Richard McGreevy drops £5. Thank you, Richard. Richard is also a patron. Hello, brothers. Do you guys know anything about book publishing? I'm in the middle of writing a book. I need a bit of info, I think he's saying. I don't, personally. Do you know anyone who's in publishing?
yes.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I do. One of my friends, actually an ex-girlfriend, but there we are, who I went to school with, she helps run her family's publishing company in Massachusetts.
Oh.
They're pretty good. She actually wrote a book called The Immigrant Cookbook that's done really well.
How to cook immigrants.
Yes, she's in America, so
the booming cannibalism. Now the wall's not going to go up. She has more access to immigrants to cook.
That's true.
So she must be very happy.
Volume 2. She's no, obviously it's a collection of recipes from Immigrant Chef.
Did you say Immigrant Chef?
No, Immigrant Chefs.
I thought you meant like the English county of Immigrantshire. I quite like that.
Yeah, anyway. But yes, I do, yeah. I mean, I don't know of what, I know someone who's in publishing, and I'm actually really good friends with their mum, which sounds really, and her stepdad, and I'm actually quite close with them. Her stepdad it's a long story. Her mum and stepdad turned out to be old friends of my family from the Bahamas. There you go. That's all we really need to know. But yes, I do know people in publishing. So I don't know how I could help with that, but drop me a line and.
Yeah, you got the old patron messages there, Richard. So
yeah,
you can do that. If you so desire, none pleasing to mine eye. Just wanted. I did.
George Foreman, who's rendered her.
George Foreman.
It's Bridget Nielsen climbing into a George Foreman.
It's the smell of cooking flesh.
Anyway.
Oh god.
Like scorched lines on her heaving bosom.
Well, she does because she does sort of. She works really well because she's with what I assume is her new husband in Creed 2 at that dinner thing, and she seems to be doing quite well for herself, and like the kind of rubber chicken pepperami Nielsen we've discussed does kind of make sense as like a kind of oligarch's wife off in Russia somewhere.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. So she does look like someone drew a mole on a handbag. But yeah, she's yeah, no, I agree. It does. She does look like she sort of absconded with all the success and left Drago.
Yeah, he's been left in the shit, and he's got the kid and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I very, very much like that fashion.
Which is a nice angle to work because it's one of those things where you kind of think, well, like it's implied in this, but it's not that delved into, and you kind of like it's sort of just a throwaway thing just to get us to where we need to be. Whereas to then make such a big character moment out of it, I think is really clever. Yeah,
I mean I think it just works really, really nicely. This was shot by Bill Butler, who I think he did kind of Rocky 2 onwards, not all of them. He was the DOP on Jaws, Capricorn 1, quite a lot of stuff. I mean, this as a film, like cinematography, I don't think it's like particularly much of it is notable. What kind of reminded me of that is the scene on the stairs with Adrian, where it's all kind of chiaroscuro stuff, and the stuff in the car that I was talking about earlier, with all the kind of light moving past and stuff, reused footage, and also just the kind of faux sports photography, which is something that always stands out in the Rocky films, right? They do the kind of fake boxing coverage that turns into a montage, and you always get the kind of slow-mo kind of punch to the jaw with all the sweat flying off and all that stuff, and pretty spectacular lighting in those scenes, particularly the Coming to America scene and stuff. You know, very famous DOP, so there you go.
So I gather with the first film, like all of the fight stuff had to be captured like in the interval between an actual boxing match, or they only had enough extras to populate part of the background and that kind of thing, so they had to be really creative with it.
Right.
But yeah, whereas obviously in these ones they've got much more budget, I guess, to fill a whole stadium full of extras. I don't really know, but
Because like Rocky 1 also, you know, when they go on the date to the ice rink, I think that was supposed to be full of spectators and people having a good time, but they couldn't afford it, and then they ended up doing it in an empty ice rink, and that actually works a lot better. It's a lot more kind of intimate, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Just one of those things of kind of happenstance. Montage.
A driving montage. He's running on the beach with his best buddy.
I love it. It's the chest slamming, totally straight guys montage for straight guys.
Yeah.
So, there's no easy way out. Rocky has some super homoerotic shit in it, like that vest he wears in Rocky 3, that kind of cut off vest. It's like, come on. The running down the beach and shit as well. Fucking hell, guys. I normally get quite annoyed by, you know, when you have flashbacks to things that happened in the film you're watching. But as part of kind of a big sequence, I'm fine with it. And there's not that much of Rocky 4 in this, and he is thinking about how Apollo's died, so it's kind of like, okay. But I hate when you're watching a film and there's a scene where someone picks up a key, and then later on you have a flashback to the same footage of the guy picking up the key, and it's like, I know, I was there, I watched it, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, that is particularly egregious in lots of places. But yeah, I mean, I think Stallone has sort of become quite a decent. He can be a half decent director. I just think it's all a bit obvious, the sort of shots in this and the sort of the way the story's told.
Yeah, it's pretty workmanlike, I think. But it's quite early on for him, you know, and I think as he's progressed, he's made some really interesting choices. And again, I just think by the time of Rocky Balboa, it's a really nicely directed, like, it's totally, that brings everything, I know it brings everything thudding down to earth in a way that Rocky 5 thought it did. Balboa is that really kind of nice street level Philadelphia type thing. And Coogler really gets that in Creed as well. I think all the photography in Creed is so nice, because it's like the streets of Philly, it's really quite bleak. It's all grey, kind of market traders, and a little bit of fog, and, you know, which is quite reminiscent of, you know, I think they're kind of bringing it back around to Rocky 1, I think.
Yeah, and they were always like, well, the Rocky and Rocky 2 were always like winter films as well. Like, you needed to see it in sort of bleak winter. It was cold, like the world was supposed to be kind of inhospitable and you know, unrelenting, and it's much better to show it in winter. I mean, and probably the only reason why it was shot in winter in Philadelphia is because it was cheaper then, because there was nothing else filming. You know what I mean? Like, it was cheaper to get crew and stuff. So, but it works. You know, it's much better to show it like that. You know, you got the guy singing huddled around the fire and stuff like that, and it just works as a sort of, it's a harsh world. You know, that's the point. But
well, you know, you know, boxing is supposed to be the great working class pursuit, isn't it? And, you know, it's all done on street level and everything, and he's a sort of down on his luck underdog guy, and etc. And the only
have you done boxing training?
No, I haven't. I'd quite like to, because it looks really
it's fucking good exercise. I'll give you that. Like, it's like, I don't think I could ever get in the ring with anyone. Like, I'd never claim that, but I've done a lot of like pad work, and
we could do. I did a bit of Thai boxing. Not really the same thing, but it's a similar kind of cardio workout, because fucking hell, like, Jesus Christ, do they really get you because there's the Tsunami gym up the corner from here, which is now closed, used to do kind of a white collar boxing thing, and a couple of my mates did white collar boxing. It looked like loads of fun.
There's a boxing gym just literally over the way from us, within spitting distance, but I went and checked out and was like, I'm not man enough to go. not that, but it was just like, I just thought, I unless I'm serious about boxing training, there's no point in going here. Like, I'm much more of a casual sort of box training. You know, I don't think, unless I was seriously wanted to train to be as good as a boxer, there's no point.
I think,
but yeah,
like the white collar boxing thing, it's like a 3-month course, and you do a charity boxing match at the end, and that's you know. Right. I think because at the Tsunami gym, again, it's now closed, but you used to walk past it, and that's where one of the white collar boxing things was. And I'd look in there and be like, "Yo, I'm a fucking ponce. Like, I'm a massive ponce." Like, you look in there, it's just like,
yeah, I know. Kurosawa, what?
yeah, this is how I die.
Yeah.
But this is.
You get
that, don't you? At the end, the final boxing match, you get the Soviet march. They do it. They do it. This is the thing, isn't it? Because we obviously we went from our montage, and then there's a bit of build up to how he trains, and then it's another montage, and then it's the end, more or less. And like you say, yeah,
pretty much.
He does the folksy thing. He does the kind of folksy. He's wearing a Plymouth Argyle hat. They're kind of, he's not actually. The kind of folksy back to nature, let's pull a wagon thing, whereas Drago's getting doped up with drugs and sort of running on the treadmill.
It's a weird point to make when you're dealing with East versus West in that context. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Soviet Union had these sort of mad technological things going on, but yeah, it's a weird point to make. Especially, when did this come out?
1985. So another 4 years till the wall comes down.
When did Chernobyl happen?
1986.
Right, a bit behind the curve, because like Soviet technology was sort of somewhat undermined by that cataclysmic event.
Yes, indeed. There's Daniel Day-Lewis as a Soviet.
Yes. Okay. What I want is for you to get in this car. So Daniel is supposed to be Russian. Well, they were American Russians. It's like, aren't you from Ireland? Shut up! He went
and lived with the one American Russian for 5 years before he did his one line in Rocky IV.
And then won an Oscar for
yes.
it. Best supporting driver.
And then decided he was going to be a millionaire roofer for 10 years or whatever.
Sort of bougie fucking cobbler in.
That's it, isn't it? That thing about him being a cobbler, it's like, you imagine just walking into Italian cobblers. Is that Daniel Day-Lewis?
Come here, I'll fix your shoes. It's like, it's Daniel Day-Lewis. Has the world gone mad? How much you chop?
My left foot.
Yes. Make sure you do the right as well.
Oh, crumbs. Yes. But anyway, it is weird because normally it'd be the other way around, that the Soviets are the ones doing the kind of crazy folksy stuff, or the Russians now.
You would think.
Yeah, and the Americans are the ones with the technology and shit. It's a bit of a weird point to make, but maybe, inverted roles. I don't know. It's odd.
The American spirit versus the quote unquote cheating Soviet Union.
Yeah.
I mean, to sort of see them as cheating, not playing by the rules.
Because are they giving them steroids?
I think so.
I don't know what else it would be. Like, it's antibiotics.
But it's still having the sort of advantage of training on equipment that, like, he's got that thing that just does that and measures what? Like, the lateral load on his elbow. It's like, right.
We've invented a new punch. It's this way.
In Soviet Russia, we punch this way. A backhand. There is a what is it? It's Muay Thai or something. I guess there's loads of moves in lots of different martial arts styles, but there is a sort of backhand thing. But I don't think what they're going for.
Yeah,
but see what I mean? Like, Rocky would not stride about in a fucking bomber jacket. Or
he's dressed sort of like Biggles, except for his 1970s pimp hat.
And he's got like a flat cap on the side, like in Samuel Jackson. It's like, come on, mate. That's not.
Is Paulie wearing a "Don't Tread on Me" flag on his jacket?
He might as well be.
It has yellow with the. It looked like it. That can't be right. When did that come into existence?
I don't know.
Weird. Okay, I'm not pulling at that fucking thread. I'm absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, there were, as people in the chat have said, James Atkinson mentioned it, I think Teaching as well, recent years we've had loads of Russian doping allegation shit, and it seems that does reach back, So, maybe they've already got him in his kind of like music video chamber. Because I did the sinister Drago training chamber. It's kind of great, actually.
Yeah, it's sort of Ludovico, was it aversion therapy? It's like, I need to remember what it looks like.
I need to condition myself to hate not punching Drago.
Right.
Right.
He just said that he'd got this really cynical British trainer. He was like, no qualifications. Like, it's not though, is it? Though?
Is it though? That's not going to work though, is it? Really though, mate? I don't know about that.
some cynical IT consultant from fucking, I don't know, Staines or whatever. It's not though, is it though?
You look like a right twat in those shorts, mate. You're going out in those. Ooh.
Flat cap, really?
Bomber jacket. Fucking biggles, are ya?
I don't even know what that is. Right.
Low key catchphrasery of just saying right.
Just beats him into the ground.
Like a fucking tent peg. Just
It's like the power of customer service talk. Well, obviously not. But yeah, that wouldn't be. You've got to no. You come through to the wrong department.
Yes. Just wearing a blonde flat cap wig as a sort of train.
Driving him insane, like passing him around on hold. That's what makes him want to punch Drago.
Just goes to Russia and goes on hold to Virgin Media for 3 months.
Tries to call Virgin Media.
He's just horribly emaciated, but really angry. He's like lost all his muscle mass, and he can't cancel his broadband, so he just goes and murders Drago back.
He's put on a different hat, and that's what.
There's no easy way out.
And the Russians just follow him, right?
Yeah, they kind of they do that classic thing of just following him. Because this has that kind of there's really nuts kind of photography of it, because he runs up the mountain, right? So it's kind of like the steps, but he runs up the mountain, and of course, doing that from helicopters on film was a lot more difficult. Whereas now you just send a drone. You don't just send a drone. It's a skill thing to send a drone up, but there's no risk to human life. It doesn't run on combustible fuel, you know. Yeah. So like the really amazing shots of the mountain and stuff with him on it. In a bit, I love all the glare, all the lens flare. Right. Punches equally distributed among the workers. Oh, he's Jesus! They did a Jesus thing. He ran across the water.
Oh, I see. He's American Jesus.
American Jesus. More blood. Look at the close up of the thigh. It's so hard. Oh yeah, there's this waving machine, so you can wave at everybody more efficiently. That looks like the dance Jason Statham does in that Shaman music video. Oh look, he's gonna make Chernobyl overload.
That thing. That's what. That's the exercise thing in the gym for fat people,
right?
Who can't run, isn't it? That's the thing when people are like, "Oh, do your legs hurt? Are you fat?" Then you have to do that. That's what you see. My wife watches like these fat programs where it's like, you know, my 600-pound life, which is hilarious, by the way, because it's the same fucking thing. The reason I don't like it is the same fucking thing happens everywhere. I just need to get the surgery, which means I need the magic password to not be fat anymore. And then they walk in, and this angry, I don't know what he is, Ukrainian doctor, just goes like, "Well, you didn't lose the weight you needed to lose, you fat fuck. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. Get out of my office." And then, anyway, so that thing is what they all do when they're trying to lose weight.
Right.
Because it means you don't have to do anything. You just sit there and do that. So fucking Drago's a lazy bastard. Anyway.
Look at that lazy superhuman.
I mean, he is just doing that and then running around the room punching the odd bag. That's not really training.
He's lazy.
He's lazy. Oh, is it? No, it's not training.
Did you know?
You're not running around with a log and chopping down trees, are you? What? I guess chopping down a tree. So tree chopper is like an ab exercise, isn't it? Where you use your obliques.
So he's doing it. He's doing it the old way, whereas Drago's just running around in circles. Lazy prick. Look at that lazy prick. Look at that lazy superhuman prick.
Yeah, running around in Soviet warmth, probably nuclear.
Just I sort of like the unfortunate thing is that when you put them together, Sylvester Stallone looks like the Wish.com Dolph Lundgren that's slightly melted in transit.
Discoloured.
Yeah. Oh, because this is because he looks cool as shit with the beard. I do think Stallone looks cool with the beard when he has a beard on.
It just sort of make out that he went out in the morning and came back in the afternoon with a beard. How long have you been doing that?
goes quicker in Russia. Is its Virgin Media bid? I think they do say, because they do say it's like a few months or a month or something that he goes out for, and obviously Adrian's not been there. They sort of do the dirty on Adrian though, because she's just a complete fucking wet blanket in this. Like she's just there to complain,
Well, because otherwise he just wouldn't have anything stopping him from doing what he's doing, would he? That's the problem.
Mm.
I can't even in the like, Baltic snow, I could not imagine going out running in that amount of clobber, because it would just be so. Am I being cancelled for fat shaming? Is that what's
I think the chat is cancelling you for fat shaming. Yes.
Oh, there you go. I'm not. I never said anything about it. I just said that that's what the show is about.
I feel some things may have been inferred from your tone. I'm not saying anything, so I can throw you under the bus as soon as possible. Just like, he was always talking about it in private. He was an awful man.
It's all right. I used to be fat.
Yeah, well, that's it. You had what they call a weight loss journey, didn't you?
I did. I walked the walk. I was a fat kid, but and I sometimes still am.
It has just been Christmas after all.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Phelps swam up a mountain, says Dan Lyles.
Yeah, did the butterfly up
a mountain.
Yeah, it's all the crunches and the crazy crunches that he does in this, and the big leg extensions and stuff. But this is just a massive training montage.
Dude, it's really long. This is No Easy Way Out, right? Is it Hearts on Fire first and then No Easy? Yeah, Hearts on Fire. No, I'm watching the subtitles so I could sort of.
No, this is Hearts. This is Hearts on Fire.
Yeah, this is Hearts on Fire. Yeah, this part.
Yeah,
No Easy Way Out was the one earlier.
Yeah.
Are you ready for Montage 2015? I don't think there are that many montages in this. They're just fucking long. Like, I think there's like 3 or 4, which is, to be fair, quite a few montages for one film. But they're just really long-ass ones.
Leg extension. I guess this is what you put on in the gym, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah. He's still got his, what is it? 2,000 punch.
Oh yeah,
2,000 PSI punch.
PSI. Is it PSI they measure that?
Pounds per square inch.
Pounds per square inch. I suppose it is.
I only remember that from watching it on Sunday with the sound on. Don't I? But here we go. So he's got a stocks and he's got a robo stocks.
He's got a yoke.
He's got steroids. They inject Rocky with bull semen, I suppose. There needs to be a scene of them injecting him with bull semen. That'd be good. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I think didn't Rocky just do weights before? And it's like here he's just doing picking up.
He's doing it in the country. He's learning a lesson about humility or something. Not that he was the arrogant one in this film. But he's
Rocky for farm aid.
Learning a lesson about humility or something.
Or whatever.
But Steve Allen says, do you think the Father Ted sheep montage is the best training montage ever filmed?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
I mean, I guess in the pantheon of training montages, this has to be probably number 1, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah, this is one of the reasons I love this movie. Like, it's one of the reasons I love this film because it's so distilled cartoon Rocky. Patty Danielson says, when he starts running up the mountain, Hearts on Fire is basically over, and Vince DiCola joins in with a piece they've spliced in. Okay, there you go. Because this is a long ass montage.
Yeah, I don't understand that as well. Why the Soviets just decided to try and run him over.
I think it's just bad chasing. It's just bad chasing because he's getting away.
Chasing gone over
because he's so fast runner. Hello, I'm so fast runner. He's going to swim up the mountain. So you get some helicopter. Because you see in a lot of like really mainstream movies, like you get helicopter photography that's really kind of shonky. It's like because you don't get to do that twice, basically.
Yeah,
like
I filmed with the aerial units that used helicopters on Maleficent. We did a big village thing where it was like. We had a helicopter shot and it was it took all day to get like a shot because you just have to keep sending out. Everyone's got to reset and you got to hide ADs around the place to tell you when to give you action and everything. But so it's hard. Like it's very hard to do aerial photography. But
inexpensive. It's thousands of pounds to have a helicopter up, hire the crew, fuel the helicopter.
They did tell me. They did say how much it was costing per hour or whatever just to have a chopper. But
sorry, Dan said it should end with Rocky sledging back down. Whee! Shit, yeah. Look, the end fight is like 20 odd minutes, which I suppose, to be fair, actually, because this end Rocky fights usually contain quite a lot of montage, because you don't see like a 10-round fight, do you? Like you get montage. Sorry, apologies. I just wanted to read Dan's sledding comment. That was
no, it was an excellent comment. Have I stopped being cancelled yet?
I think so. Don't bring it up. Don't. I mean, I'm not saying go full Streisand effect, but don't bring it back up.
Hey, I stand by what I said.
Jesus Christ! Don't double down. That's the opposite.
What did I say?
I doubled down on whatever I said. Don't know what it was. I doubled down on it.
Did I say being fat was bad? Maybe I implied it.
Jesus Christ!
God. It's because you're the sober one this time.
That's true. Yes, yeah, I'm sober for once. That's the difference. Someone's mentioning drones in the chat because now we've got the situation whereby, because we have drones, we've just about got to the point where people have stopped using drone shots for every single shot. People are still well over using drones because now suddenly you can do as much aerosography as you like on the cheap. It's everywhere. And I think we'll sort of the novelty will wear off soon, but that is a good thing. I mean, I've had a go. I haven't provided any work on a drone yet, but I've been involved in drone shoots actually, but I wasn't the pilot. I was kind of second man on the monitor and stuff. And I have had a go on a drone, but not for work. And
I've done it. Yeah, I've done aeros. We did it in Fistful of Lead. We did drone shots and stuff, which and the thing with it as well is there's so much. In a weird way, there's so much more stable than using a chopper and stuff.
Massively. You saw it in those shots there because it's like fucking.
Yeah,
it's probably fucking snowing.
As well, like for a long time, I don't know what was the case with this, but for a long time with it was the door was open and the cameraman was sitting in the door, and eventually they got those choppers with the camera in the nose cone. That's what we used on Maleficent. So it's like, I can't remember what they're called, but it's like you get that dome on the front of the nose and it's got all the cameras in it. So the camera's not being affected by the wind or the whatever's going on outside. It's sat inside a nice, comfortable, whatever dome, like clear dome. And it's got a proper rig and everything. Whereas like a lot of these, I think it was just a guy out the bloody door filming stuff. So
you might know this. There was a guy, an aerial photography guy who I think worked on the James Bond films, and he lost his foot because his leg went into the rotor of a helicopter, and then he went back to work, but I think he died 6 months later in an unrelated aerial photography accident. Does that ring any bells?
I think he didn't lose it. He was civilians. Wasn't it? Was it on Her Majesty's Secret Service? Someone will know. Yes. Yeah, it was one of the ski photographers. Yes, I think it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service. He got it really badly mangled and insisted on going back to work. And
that's it.
There was another one. One of the stunt guys got it. Was it Octopussy? It was near here. It was in the Nene Valley Railway. That was doubling for what was it, Russian border with wherever, or Austria or somewhere. And guy like doubling for Bond was hanging on the side of the train, and he caught. Because he was doing this and he was leaning out and he leant out at the wrong time and he caught like a lamppost or something. And the fucking thing tore him to pieces, man. He survived, luckily, but he was really messed up, as you can imagine. Like, because the train was going full pelt. It was a steam train. It was going like full pelt, and he just got smashed by like a freaking where it was. Anyway.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah.
God.
But I'll tell you what, he wasn't. No.
Oh my God.
I'm joking.
Well, as I've said before, our channel's too unpopular to get cancelled. It assumes a level of fame that you can therefore lose, which we don't have.
Every director plans. Yeah, Erica actor loses £12 a year from
£12 a year.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, see, Stallone is fucking crazy ripped in this, isn't he? Because I think even in 3, he's mostly lean. You know, he's still very muscular, but he's leaner. He's a bit more stacked in this. You see Drago's fucking silhouette when he comes out of the back in this, and it's just like legs, and then just bang! He looks like a fucking martini glass, basically.
Yes, with arms, which is weird.
Yes,
head is the olive,
sort of like
but sort of
like a cocktail-based Poddington P.
Or a California raisin stuffed in a martini bar. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. What was the thing about like the speaking of Hearts on Fire? Didn't Stallone supposedly snap or injure a heart muscle during the training montage of this? Like,
oh my god.
yeah, I'm not sure how that
Jesus.
worked, but apparently, yeah, he really injured himself. Like, because this is obviously he tore one of his pecs, didn't he? Which you see later in other films where he's got that really gnarly, veiny kind of scar under his thing where he tore it, which I don't think he's got in this. But it's like, yeah, he tore his pec. Mark has just sent me a. Wait, what's this? I think Mark's laughing because I've been cancelled. I realised now that it's like, yeah, you're not in my films anymore.
He's going to edit you out of Fistful of Lead.
Going to edit me out of that. Fair enough. No.
Oh god.
It's well, career's over. Never
Yeah,
mind.
well, not to worry. Not to worry. Look at fucking Drago, man. I know. Ivan told me something. So in the start of Rocky 3, when he fights Thunderlip, so that's Hulk Hogan.
Thunderlip.
Yeah, Thunderlip. I used to go out with her. She gave me a split diopter. Yeah, like apparently and that's the thing Ivan told me, but you see the height difference between Hulk Hogan and Sly and that, because Hulk Hogan's a hugely tall guy, or he was. He still is, yeah. But Ivan told me he was. Well, no, he lost a couple of inches in height because they fused some of his vertebrae.
Oh fuck! Okay,
yeah, so like he was like 6'6" and now he's 6'4" or something fucked up like that because they fused some of his vertebrae. Like it's that's fucking crazy. It's insane. Dijon Coleman, Stallone had a hospital visit due to a bruised heart after telling Dolph to really hit him.
Oh, that's why. Okay, fair enough. I just said to Mark. Mark just wrote a thing which I won't read out. But I won't read that out. But I won't, out of loyalty to my director,
who's currently in Adobe Premiere cutting you out of his films.
Yeah. She's like, import.
Wait, I just he sent something to me as well. Sorry, we shouldn't be doing it. I've seen something that you can't see. Yeah. Oh no, I shit myself laughing when you accidentally said my name. This is just like me swearing on Spanish Show. When I'm not supposed to do something, I'll do it.
Yeah. Duncan getting replaced by Christopher Plummer is like when Hans Moleman replaced Bart. Thanks. I guess no, thanks. That works. Hey, look, if I've got to be replaced by anyone, it's Christopher Plummer all the way. Right?
Someone's saying I should be paired up with Christopher Lambert. Highlander sucks, Chris. Boo. Oh God, well, drippy nose. God. It's either a coronavirus or a cocaine habit I don't know about. Cocaine, yeah. Ivan's been slipping me sniff every day with telling me. That's where all his energy comes from.
He drugged you first, weirdly. Doped you up, and then
I don't think anybody who knows me would want to give me stimulants. You know what I mean? So it's bad enough anyway. Don't G him up.
What he needs is less sleep.
Yes. So he's great. I love that. You know that he did the thing a minute ago where he just sort of like beats his chest. Yeah. Like it's fucking cool.
Was it like, come on, hit me? Yeah. Showboating, which you wouldn't expect from a Soviet.
No, it's off-brand. Because halfway through the fight, he's kind of like, he is like iron. And it's like, nah, you definitely would have murdered him. Like, you absolutely would have murdered him. Mr. HEC should be dead right now.
Yeah, true. There's obviously there's got to be a disadvantage to being really tall, though.
Yeah, I suppose. It's kind of like, but you do have better reach, though. I mean, and in
true, yeah.
Because it is a comical height difference. But then that's the thing, you have to kind of really. I think the reason Apollo has to die in Rocky 4 is because they killed Mickey in Rocky 3. And it's like they got into this state of cartoonish escalation where it's kind of like you got to have Mr. T, who's insanely sort of mean as a bad guy, and then you replace him with a fucking commie Terminator.
The personification of communism is like we had to go there. It's like what's next? It's like Rocky fights an alien, which is obviously the
Predator,
and
then he fights himself from the past. He fights Rocky 1, Rocky. I will, because Mark did say to me, like, I hope I'm not misquoting you, Mark. Still watching. I think he said, like, oh, actually, Rocky 5 is really, really well directed, and I was kind of like, because Avildsen came back to do 5, and I've never liked 5, but I sort of feel like, because it's been so long since I watched it, I should give it another crack. Because at least it tried to go back in the other direction. You can't blame it for that, but ultimately, it did just turns into him having a street fight with the guy. And there's a character called Con Ding who isn't based on any real people whatsoever.
Con Ding. It was like The Simpsons with it's basic, they just made him look exactly.
It's not even. I mean, it's so fucking because like Apollo as Muhammad Ali, right? But it's enough not like Muhammad Ali to be its own thing. But by the time Rocky 5 was just like, just put Don King in it and give him a different name. Like it's but yeah, I don't know, because like Clubber Lang and Drago, these are brilliantly sort of broad strokes cartoonish villains, and I'm totally fine with that. Whereas like no one really remembers Tommy Gunn, Well,
this is what I mean. So I think 3 and 4 really just get into this kind of it's an episode of the Rocky show. Do you know what I mean? Like it isn't what the first 2 were. And it ain't like the 5th one is just an anathema. It's not. It doesn't. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a weird alternative universe. But 3 and 4 are this kind of like they're their own thing. 1 and 2 are their own thing. 3 and 4 are their own thing. 6 really goes with the creeds. I think 6 is almost like a prequel.
That's its own little trilogy, isn't it? I think in terms of style and tone, those 3 fit together, and there's casting things that carry over and stuff.
Yeah, because I get really like Balboa is about him and his son, and then obviously the Creed films are about. I mean, they're literally called Creed for fuck's sake, but you know what I mean. They're like about bequeathing things and legacy and the father-son relationship, and there's a skewed father-son relationship because you've got the Rocky has to become a kind of surrogate father to Creed, and then they kind of so really you're right. I mean, I think Balboa through to Creed 2 you could see as a nice little trilogy because they do wrap up. Like at the end of Creed 2, it's like, well, we've kind of put a bow on the Rocky thing. Really, you could end it there, and I kind of hope they will, but they might not.
Someone said in the chat earlier that Michael B. Jordan signed on to direct Creed 3.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I don't think, but I don't know if Michael B. Jordan directed anything. I think he's a very, very charismatic and good actor. So hopefully he's a good director. Hey, look. Do you know what? It's perfectly in step with the Rocky films. Have the star end up directing, make too many of them. Like I'm absolutely,
become an asshole. Get fat.
My God, can you imagine?
I agree. Like Michael B. Jordan, but Michael B. Jordan. It really. I mean, again, if you've got someone to sort of inherit the mantle of Carl Weathers. He is a modern day Carl Weathers in a lot of ways. Like he's really got the charisma, and he's like obviously athletically insane, and Tessa Thompson as well. Tessa Thompson.
They are a great double act.
A great pairing, man. Like
excellent chemistry. Awesome,
yeah. Tessa Thompson also shares the same thing with John Hillerman, who played Higgins in Magnum PI, because as far as I'm concerned, Tessa Thompson's English, but she's not. She's American.
Dude, I was going to say,
she does an American accent. She sounds like she's English doing an American accent. It's like, what?
I think the first thing I would have seen her in was Creed, I think. And then, for fucking ages, I just thought she was British. And then it's like, no, she absolutely is not that at all. She's just,
yeah, I know. Because Thor Ragnarok, obviously, she's very prominent that she does an English. She does, it's a very sort of stock British accent.
Yeah, but you can imagine someone, because it's a kind of posh RP type Shakespeare-y thing, isn't it, to fit in the Thor world? And you can imagine someone British who doesn't speak like that doing that as an accent. You see what I mean?
That's more. Absolutely. So when I hear her speaking American, it's like speaking American with an American accent. It's like I'm like that doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. But yeah, no. She's someone who I mean, obviously has an astoundingly good career, so I don't know why I'm playing it up like someone ought to give that lass a job.
Someone ought to give that lass another blockbuster franchise.
Give her another multi-million-dollar fucking but she, I mean, I love her to bits, and I think her and Michael B. Jordan are are a pairing that, you know what, in another time, I think, ironically, at the sort of time of the Rocky stuff, would have been for the ages, man. Like they are such a great pairing. In a way that I don't think Chris Hemsworth and her are. I do think they work well together, but it's like putting them in that Men in Black sequel was a bit.
That's, or I was going to bring that up because I think in Thor they work brilliantly, and I wonder how much of that is Taika Waititi, and I also wonder if it's the characters they're playing. The Men in Black film was so horribly uncharismatic all the way round. It does the dirty on both of those, who are great comic performers, and they're wasted because I think that with a different script, perhaps they just don't have. I don't know. I
think the smug factor was too high with that. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that they were bad or anything. It was just there was too much sort of smuggery going on in there. And too much.
The Men in Black films are so inventive. They're these real. I've talked about it before. These really inventive, lovely films, and that was just so, like. I don't want to do any disrespect to anyone who worked on those films and stuff, but it all seems so kind of uninspired. It's just like, yeah, here's an alien. I think your man from who's your phone jacker guy? I've forgotten his bloody name.
Kevin Novak.
Yeah, Kevin Novak. I can't remember what his. Did he have like an extra smaller head or a mouth in his neck or something? I can't remember. I can't even remember. But he had a slightly inventive design, and the rest is kind of like big blue guy, tentacle guy. It's like, no, Men in Black had all these kind of weird and wonderful creations, and Men in Black International had some aliens in it. I mean, I can confirm, but that's kind of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame. I just think that they're fine. They're fine, but it's just the world around them. Especially coming off the hit. I mean, again, not spoken about enough, but Men in Black 3, I think, was a really, really good film. And coming off the heels of that into this sort of like, don't know what, like, oh, it's a completely different. I mean, I was just got Emma Thompson in it, but basically it's a complete sort of reboot or rehash or I don't know what you call it, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't hold together. It's a shame. I think it was one of those like, it's for a new generation. It's like, is he?
It's a cynical cash grab.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, but I do. Yeah, I do. But I like them both, and I think they work well together, as you know, just in the right place. But yeah, Tessa Thompson is someone we see a lot of her, but I would like to see more. I'd like to see more. I'd like to work with her, but I doubt.
I like her arc in the Creed films is lovely because, you know, she's a musician who's losing her hearing, and that in itself
it's so fucking good, man. And it's like the Adrian, but it's like. It's the reluctant Adrian, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, right. She definitely, because she pushes back against it, but she's not a wet blanket in the way Adrian's made quite sort of 2D in this.
She's losing her talent or whatever. She's losing her peak and he's gaining his, and it's like such a hard thing to reconcile, right? Because she's like, because isn't she like she was destined for greatness and now it's like being taken from her and
but you know, and the thing you're gifted at is being taken from you. It's tragic. It's awful.
Well, but also he was born with it. Effectively, he was born into this legacy.
Yeah, and she's she's like, "How dare you? How dare you be given something and just not want it?
Piss this away." As well, though, because he's railing against it in a sort of petulant way, and she's just like, "What I wouldn't fucking give, and now I have to be the sort of deaf hanger on to your." You know, it's I do. There's so many great.
And they introduce a child into the mix as well, and just quickly, Floyd Dillon has said, when asked about plans for Creed 3, Stallone stated he would like Deontay Wilder to play the son of Clubber Lang, to which Jordan agreed if a sequel was made. I don't really like. I don't want them to do the fathers and sons thing again with the other fighter.
It shouldn't be what's the Tiny Toons? What's the
Tiny Toon Adventures
superhero? Yeah, I don't want the kids of everyone turn up, and you know what I mean. Like, it's one thing to have the Creed kids meet Rocky, and then meet the Drago kid. All right, that's 2 degrees. But it's like if you add another one, it's just
I think do it again. And you know, I just don't think I'm not as convinced that Clubber Lang's son is as interesting as Drago's son potentially. You know. James Hughes says, is there such a thing as Russian rules where a fighter could just get up and start fighting without a count? It's a good point. It's a good point.
In Soviet Russia.
Creed 3 should be Creed fighting Paulie's cyborg son he never knew. He comes back to kill Paulie. Well, Paulie's already dead, but I still think the cyborg son is a goer.
That's how Paulie died, though. That's what, it happened off screen, didn't it? Yeah.
I see.
So, I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Motorcycle. Rob Myers depressingly adds, at this point, the Tiny Toons would have kids themselves. That's a good point. It's a good, sad point. But then, Bugs Bunny was born during the Depression, so he'd be dead. Like 100-year-old Chungus. 100-year-old Big Chungus. Yeah. Rocky's done it. He's solved the Cold War. Yo, Adrian has solved the Cold War.
It's okay, they get capitalism now.
just loads of planes come drop Nike trainers and fucking go.
Yeah, because wasn't this was the poster, right? It was him draped in the Stars and Stripes, kind of being held up.
The Merkin flag. Spoilers.
And he's kind of being held up by they're all Soviets.
Well, they kind of, because he wins over the crowd. I think that's the thing as well. I think that's the kind of nice thing. He wins over the crowd, and it's kind of, he does this nice little speech and stuff. And the speech isn't kind of like, we should all be capitalists. His speech is kind of like, let's have peace, please, because a nuclear war would be shit. It doesn't actually say that, but that's my take.
If we can change, they can change, or if they can change, we can change, or something.
Yeah. He does a speech, a quite well-intentioned speech, written and delivered by a man who's been punched in the head by a giant for an hour. You can change, we can change.
And then I'm going to say, waffles. It's the waffles. Everyone's like, what did he say?
Mama, it's time for bed.
Tylenol, realistic Rocky. Fuck. If Rocky was made by Christopher Nolan,
Christopher Nolan's Rocky, and also this would be the first scene, and it'd be upside down.
Backwards. And then also Rocky performs a mid-air heist.
Yes.
For no reason.
In a dream during the Battle of the Bulge. We've made the ultimate Christopher Nolan film. The Soviet premier, by the way, looks a lot like Gorbachev, but they didn't bother put a birthmark on him, so it's kind of this off-brand Gorbachev of the Rocky universe.
It's a fat balding man.
It's just a balding man.
Which is what Gorbachev was really a thing.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, well, that shot of his son just going. He looks like not that one, but the one before. He sort of looks like a goldfish that's flopped onto the counter.
Like, Dad, we're already rich.
Now communism has to pay him for losing.
Like, communism doesn't have any money.
He gets a suitcase full of fucking bison dollars that he gets to take with him.
He gets shares in Chernobyl.
A free tour of the facility.
Yeah, right. It's his fault, really. He went around pushing buttons and shit.
Recently head injured Rocky.
Control rods. No one should be controlled. Hey, no. It is not what you think. No. Listen to me, okay? Control is bad.
Control is bad. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed our string analysis of Cold War cinema. There's a character called Igor Rimsky, which sounds a little bit rude. Oh, Seiko the Robot, voiced by Robert Durnick. Okay, well, there you go. Reporters, I guess, are real reporters. They get the whole. Must just go through the credits. That used to be that. I don't know about you, but like doing commentaries. We talked about this when we do it. It's been so long since we did a regular commentary. Like doing commentaries. The only bit of respite when you've done something you haven't particularly enjoyed is trying to find funny names in the credits. When you've just done something really long you didn't want to do. Highlander. You just have to sit and find. It's not even that long. It's just shit. Highlander is shit. That's
You should play Spot the Joe Pancake, right?
Right, yeah, Spot the Joe Pancake. Or the Dick Butler.
Yes.
It's been a while since I had a Joe Pancake reference. I guess we just got to let the past die and subvert everyone's expectations. So there was a Star Wars reference. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, great movie.
Right, may I go for a wee
Right.
in this particular lull in
Right,
energy?
Duncan's off for a piss. Let's all talk about how we're going to cancel him.
Okay, fine. Whatever. I'll come back to
Whatever.
the blank screen. Whatever.
He's done. He doesn't even care. Doesn't even care anymore. Oof. So there you go. Rocky 4, great movie. No idea what we're going to do next week. It's a bit. We could throw in some Creed movies, I suppose, but perhaps not. We don't want to overdose on Rocky back to back. You know what I mean? About choosing something good. Yet again, yeah, we got the watch party on Sunday. If you want to pop along and watch that, put your suggestions in on Patreon if that's how you roll. Because that'll be happening, and I'll come back and do some more Silent Hill next week probably, and then Duncan will do a Q&A stream before the month is out as well for anyone on $3 and up on the Patreon, so that's nice. I'm going to kill this. I'm going to kill my video of Rocky. It's distracting me. There we go. Let's close all these tabs. Let's just get my chat back. Let's look at the chat. Right. Don't cancel him. Philip done tell me off. And I like Philip too much to annoy him. Oh, Duncan's just a bit boozed. He's like I normally am. Masters of the Universe. Oh God, Jesus, yeah, that is one. Andrew K. Richard, check Twitter. I've sent you photographic evidence of James Brown and the robot. Holy fuck. That's okay, I'm off there. Floyd says, how about some more 80s Cold War type movies? That's a good idea, Floyd. That is a very good idea. James Atkinson says, Alan Partridge Alpha Papa Watch Party. Duncan and I did talk about that actually, and it's an excuse for us to do Partridge stuff again, which we did a Partridge episode of It Ain't Broke back when we were still doing that pre-pandemic days, and that was one of our most popular episodes ever of It Ain't Broke, the Partridge one. So yeah, I think if that went in the vote on Patreon, it would probably get voted for. Let me just pop over to Twitter and see what's going on with Andrew's robot evidence. There was a proposal for a Rocky prequel TV series, says James. Hope it doesn't happen. Oh my god. Oh my god. Here he comes. Hold on, I need to say something when he gets back. So anyway, he just kicked this guy out of the wheelchair. He's about.
It's all right. I plan a long, illustrious career at the end of which I will tell Krishna Guru Murphy to go fuck himself.
Okay, weirdly.
That seems to be the way it goes.
Yes, yeah.
He provokes me.
Well, he was a fucking dick to Tarantino. Like, I'm not Tarantino's biggest fan.
He's a dick to loads of people.
He's
He's
just
provocative twat for no reason. You know what I mean?
Well,
so not getting interviewed by Channel 4 ever.
Yeah, but you know why though? It's because he does those dickish interviews. Fucking Robert Downey Jr. is a cunt too as well. He does those interviews, and then we all fucking talk about it, and it goes on YouTube. You know what I mean? And he gets clicks. It pisses me out.
Yeah, it's simple, and it's not exactly investigative journalism, is it? It's just being a dick to get clicks.
Robert Downey Jr. is like, you did drugs, and it's like, yeah, like he had a really horrible checkered past about 15 years ago that ended, and he's been getting clean ever since. And you're just there going, you did drugs. Yeah. It's like, well, yeah.
Struggle with an addiction.
Yeah.
I bet you could dig up anywhere Krishna Guru Murphy interviewing an ex-drug addict and being all sympathetic and nice to them. And the only reason is he just wants to have a pop at Robert Downey Jr. because he's famous or whatever. It's just like what? It's like, don't you think you should be a better spokesperson? It was like, well, that starts from the premise that everyone should emulate everything I do all the time. It's like, no,
fucking dick.
Like what? Same thing with Tarantino. It's like, why are you having a go at the man who makes 18 rated movies?
Yeah.
For him using the N-word in a film about slavery.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Well, like,
it's shit.
Right.
It's shit journalism.
You're an idiot. It is shit journalism. It's hardly journalism.
Right. Okay, there's Andrew Case. Okay, so like a sort of crime scene photo, Andrew K has sent a very low resolution image of what is very clearly James Brown holding it in a different costume to the film Rocky 4, just to be clear, holding a microphone up to Paulie's robot's face. I'm going to put that on the stream for everyone to see, because I feel if someone's going to tweet at me like that, there needs to be, it needs to be shared with everybody. So I'm just going to just do that real quick. So
James Atkinson asked me, actors you'd like to work with, Duncan? So, well, I guess I better list all the cancelled ones. I guess. You got to be so careful here, because you don't want to choose one that's been done for some awful shit.
There we go. Anyway.
Well, no, I might not have any choice. I guess I'll have to work with all the. Oh, look at that!
Yeah, with the robots.
That's changed it.
I mean, it must be true. I mean, that has really spun me out.
That is weird.
That is odd, isn't
it?
He
really loved that fucking robot, didn't he? God bless him. God bless you, James.
God bless him.
You fucking weird.
You mad leathery cunt. You. God bless you. You human soul handbag. It's the only way.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to work with Kurt Russell, Dean Cain, Lawrence Fox. Gary Sinise.
Oh, Gary Sinise? What did Gary Sinise say?
They're all Republicans or.
I mean, Lawrence Fox is primarily a cunt, but yeah, you know.
Whoa! I never said that.
No. I did.
Fair enough. But yeah, I'm just listing supposedly cancelled people.
Well,
it's a good call.
Sorry, I didn't realise. So I was looking at the chat. Is Kurt Russell cancelled as well?
Yeah, because he's a pro-gun Republican.
Oh yeah, but he didn't. But that's he's not cancelled. I mean, it's when people kind of fucking come out and say something racist or whatever. I mean, Kurt Russell's not struggling to get work, is he?
I hope not, because I do love me some Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he just had a movie out and shit. He didn't get cancelled. He didn't get cancelled.
You can cancel that lovable human bear.
He played Santa Claus.
Yes, I know. He's got so much mileage out of his Bone Tomahawk beard, or was it Hateful Eight beard? I don't know.
Bone Tomahawk first, I think. Yeah, because again,
was it? Yeah.
When Hateful Eight came around, it's like, oh, it's the same universe, clearly. Vote Saxon had just been off. Vote Saxon had just been off doing the Woodstock podcast with Rory Woods. So you go, and he's back here now.
Oh, that's great.
He says he thinks it was shit. First Woodstock podcast I did, I got quite drunk, and I managed to do this thing where I gestured and I slapped my headphones to the front of my face like this, and that wasn't very dignified. And we also talked about I told that story about the landlord showing us his daughter's bedroom in the house we were supposed to share with his daughter. Did I ever tell you that? It was weird. I'll tell the story again real quick, because why not? I'll filibuster with a good story. When I was looking for a student house with my friends in Southampton, we looked at some really rapey places, and there's this one kind of private ad. We went to look at the house, and the guy met us with this like rapey old geezer like smoking a fag, and he shows us around the house, which was just grim. It was like really messy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, one more thing you got to share with my daughter," and we were like, "Okay," and he goes like, "Yeah, do you want to see her room?" And we were sort of like, "No," but before we could say it, he'd already taken us in. And it's like, why are you showing us a room that we can't, Anyway, there was a bed with no sheets on it. Well, a mattress cover, like all stained. There was like pizza boxes everywhere. And then on the wall, there was like a bookshelf. And on the bookshelf was a huge dildo.
Oh, yeah.
Just the hugest dildo. And we were just like, is this part of, like, is she going to come out and you're going to make us all fuck her at gunpoint or something? Because this feels like the setup to some really awful porn or like a horror film. It was really weird. It's like, it was just why? So anyway, we ended up living there and all. No, we didn't. We were just like, dude, like, what the fuck? This is so weird. There you go. That's the story I told on Rory Woods' podcast. Keeping it classy, as usual.
I don't think I can't remember. I think I did that at like 2 PM, so odds are I was sober and uncancelable.
Uncancelable. Well, yeah. I mean, something I found with Rory's podcast is that I forget that you go in hot, right? As soon as he dials you in, you're on. There's no kind of grace period, so I'm always a bit unclear as to whether or not I'm on, and whether I'm. I know now, third time lucky, if he ever has me back, which is probably unlikely. Because I didn't realise that you sort of go in hot with his stuff. But it's a fun show. You should go check out the Woodstock podcast if you can. You can listen to Duncan and I, and now Vote Saxon.
Me.
So
yeah, no, I'd love to go back and do that. Actually, because I had a good time. It's a fun one to do. Steve Allen, I don't know if you've seen this. There's a film called School's Out Forever coming out. That's produced by Rebellion. Rebellion are the people they're the video game studio that own 2000 AD, and they own that big production studio in Oxford with the Mandalorian magical background thing. So, so Toby writes stuff for them, and Toby writes novels for them and stuff. They've just adapted one of their novels into a movie called School's Out Forever, which is like a post-apocalyptic school thing that's coming out soon. Nice. It's quite cool, actually. I checked the trailer. I haven't read the book or anything, and I was like, it looks quite good.
I mean, I've got two horses in that race, in that Toby works for them, and I'm obviously 2000E guy, so I sort of want them to do well. I think it's good for you as well, because they've opened up this huge production facility in Oxford. That means we're supposed to be. The idea is it's going to attract more film business to the UK.
Well, it would have been if I hadn't already been prematurely cancelled from ever working.
If you're going to get cancelled in a pandemic, because
that's true.
By the time all these other actors have died, they'll be casting you again at the end. So,
that's right. There you go. No, that the whole rebellion thing has potential to be very exciting, because I do think there's an awful lot in, like, I know Steam, yeah, no, I can say that. I think it was just Steam are investing a lot in those kinds of things. Erica was a big part of this as well in its own kind of way. Is like to whether you're into the FMV or the kind of interactive movie thing or not, that is the sort of fertile ground right now, because streaming is, I won't say it's oversaturated, but it's saturated, and it seems like we can't get enough of it, and that's fine. It's a wonderful thing, especially right now. But that the whole gaming world and the move into more kind of the blurring of lines that's going on in that is really exciting, and I think that's where the next thing is coming from. So for Rebellion, this is a fantastic move, to be involved in that kind of stuff.
The merging of things seems to have been successful, and it would be good for them to do well, because I mean it means a lot of work for industry types in and around. Someone's mentioned the Judge Dredd show, which is supposed to happen at that facility. I get asked about that about once a month, and it's in massive limbo. But the fact is they're producing other stuff and it's going very well for them. I think the big thing is having, I can never remember the name of the fucking technology they use for the Mandalorian. The magic Unreal Engine reverse projection screen thing is what I'm calling it.
It's insane that when you think about it, like, so much of that is shot. It's basically in camera because they're working on a projected. It's like the thing from Sunshine, isn't it? It's the room where you're just surrounded by images. It's insane, but writ large.
Because the spill from the light behind you creates accurate light to the scene.
Yeah,
so there's bonkers. Hold on, can you just? I'm going to be a bit distracted. I'm trying to find what that's fucking called.
Go find out. Yeah, no, because it is bloody awesome. To think that could ever work as well, like convincingly work, because like when you watch The Mandalorian, you'd never notice it, but it is like all filmed in those kind of virtual sets.
And the 3D environment that's rendered is slave to the camera. So when you move the camera, it parallaxes in the way it should do. Okay, so what I searched for I searched for Mandalorian magic screen technology, which has worked. So it appears green screen Mandalorian. Blah, blah, blah. Someone said virtual display technology. Some people are calling it.
I'd call it a virtual set or something, or a virtual
LED stage production. Actually, shit, we could have just asked Rob, right?
Yeah, Rob, dude, if you're there, can you? Yeah, no, it's I think it's exciting, man, and it's like I'm excited that it's here. Obviously, I want in on it, but we'll see how that goes. But it was really nice to be part of Erica, and even just in a small way, kind of be part of that, kind of going forward, and long may it continue, because I do think there's something to it. Erica's had these it's had long legs, really.
Sorry, I'm just Dan's saying the volume, and Rob Meyer says LED volume, and I think Dan's going to have an aneurysm unless I put him out of his misery. Please continue, Erica.
Sorry, the volume. Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah. No. I just think I think there's desire for it. I think Erica is. I think when that becomes much more. What's the word? Seamless, I suppose. Like the kind of interactive element of stuff, when it becomes quite seamless, and when we really perfect it, I think that could be where a lot of people want their kind of streaming experience to go to, especially as we're now going into the kind of drought period. Because bearing in mind, a lot of the streaming platforms are really running out of content. Last year they were able to kind of keep up because they had a bunch of stuff in the can, but this year I don't know how they're going to manage if we remain in lockdown and stuff like that, and we're not able to go out and make more stuff. It's going to be pretty hard for them. So I do think they're going to want to jump on the next thing where possible.
Yeah, well, this is funny, isn't it? Because the streaming service will run out of stuff, but then the studios don't want to give up their big films. So there's a kind of log jam there, I think.
Yeah, but I think it's because the big studio stuff is stuff from that was predicated on a model that would have seen people go in the first weekend.
Yeah.
And like James Bond is obviously the one, but it's like there's loads of them. The Bond franchise is $1 billion franchise. Skyfall made over $1 billion. Spectre made close to, so unless a streaming platform's going to give them $1 billion for it, which they're not gonna, because there's no freaking way it's worth it to them to do that. Unless they all club together or something, which is not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not really done in the spirit of collaboration, is it? How those guys operate.
No, exactly. So, I mean, unless MGM start their own streaming platform, but then I guess they're trying
to sell their fucking studio as well.
Yeah,
which is, that's been fucking going on. MGM as an ailing entity has been a thing for ages. Just real quick, sure. The volume, or LED volume, is the name of the technology that I called Mandalorian magic screen technology. The short that Rebellion made to test the Mandalorian magic screen technology is called Percival, an Arthurian short film. An Arthurian short film. Percival, an Arthurian short film. That was written by Toby and I think Fliss as well. So I think Toby and Fliss wrote that. So it stars Jason Kingsley, who's the CEO of Rebellion, because he's well into reenactment shit, as is Toby. So Toby and Fliss wrote that story. It's 5 minutes long, and you can see that was made in Oxford using that technology, which isn't widely available really. So we now have that in Britain as a going concern, which is really, really interesting. And it's very cinematic. They've cropped it in in a 2:3:5:1 ratio, I think. Go check that out.
I really need to just show up to Toby's house and rub their feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit misery, but I like it.
Not hobble them, obviously.
Well, unless they don't give you what you want.
That's it. No, I mean, it's dude, and they're doing gangbusters. They're just sort of quietly doing gangbusters, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Well, there's talk of his house getting a fucking might get a BAFTA for screenplay, so that would be lovely.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it might be getting nominated. Yeah. So that's something. Look at all these
BAFTA nominated.
Look at all these grown-ups we surround ourselves with who do better than us in their careers.
I know. We're connected. Just
about.
We're at the bottom of the food chain.
Just about. We're going to log off at 9:30 tonight, team, because early starts tomorrow and such. So, if you got anything you want to get in the next 10 minutes or forever hold your peace, now's the time. I saw Rory popped up as well after Saxon, so they've both left their turncotery to come to the stream late. Blocked, banned.
This has all been about banning and cancelling, isn't it? This moment.
That's it. Now people are going to think you're into foot stuff. Like, it's just you just had a bad night. You can come back from it. It's fine. You'll come back from it.
I don't know. What did I say? I said my wife watches fat programs that are funny because the fat people, it all goes to the same thing. They just want surgery, and the guy tells them they're too fat, and that's it. And they do that. What a thing.
Who likes the Rocky films? I do. What? I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. I just go and eat fucking. I was going to go and eat a Christmas cake out of sadness. Have you watched Wonder? You haven't watched WandaVision yet, have you? Because you don't have.
I don't have Disney Plus. No, not anymore.
It's been very, very good. The first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I really, really liked it. It's doing very nice, clever stuff. I don't want to say too much without spoilers, but the first 2 episodes are bewitched with Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Nice. Okay.
And it's obviously something bigger is at play, because there's no explanation. It just starts and it's a 50s sitcom, and it's black and white, a multi-camera sitcom with laugh track and everything. But it starts to sort of decay, and it does some kind of slightly David Lynchy stuff, and it's kind of like, I'm guessing. I don't think this is a spoiler because it's my speculation, but clearly Wanda's in like a mind prison or something. It must be. I don't know what, because it seems from the trailers it's going to go through all the different eras of sitcom. So she must be in brain jail. Is my only.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's been really good. Like they dropped the first 2 episodes, like up front, so you can just go and watch the first 2 straight away. and then it's coming out on Fridays.
Isn't it? So it's kind of like what's the Superman thing that for the man who has everything?
Oh,
that thing
sure.
about like, which is kind of he's under the mind control or something, but he's like basically shown everything that he wants.
I just reread that recently, actually. That's an Alan Moore one, and then they did an adaptation of it for the Justice League TV show. Yeah, great story. Yeah, because Superman just craves a humble life, which is really nice. It's a very nice assassination of that character. You know,
Right.
He just wants to be an ordinary schmo. No, you know, yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I've just realised. I'll just give you my fucking login, man. You just go on mine. I'm going to cancel it after Wonder Vision finishes anyway, so I'll just give you my login. And then you can catch up with Mandalorian season 2. I should have done that sooner. Yeah, you can just have my Disney login. Yeah, in your face, mouse. What are you doing about that, mouse? Give my login, Matt, and then I'd fucking.
I haven't got anything I think I can offer you because we've only got Prime.
Oh, don't worry
TV.
about it. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about that. Worry about that. I mean, if I'm not murdered by a Disney drone that comes through the window and just an algorithm somewhere heard me diss the
red
mouse.
dot appears on you. Yeah. A red mouse, a little red mouse just climbs up you.
Just up my nose into my brain or something. Yeah, no, I'll just give you my login. We'll do that when we get off. I could give the chat my login. Okay, 80 people. I hope you enjoyed my Disney Plus account. Is that how this works? This will be fine. Oh yeah, there was some. Floyd said, you could do sort of 80s, more 80s Cold War panic type stuff. So like Red Dawn or whatever as a stream. Someone said, and someone has said yet again, I forget who, sorry, to get Alpha Papa in the mix, and then we could just perhaps work through our Partridge issues. And like I said, we did like the Partridge episode of It Ain't Broke is one of our best performing. I think that must have got reposted on like a Partridge Reddit or something, or people just crave Partridge content, because that shot up to like 5,000 views over a couple of days, which for us,
that's pretty good.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I think it kind of it shot up very quickly. Instead of having the usual sort of slow drag up, and they tend to sort of peak. The older ones are quite high in numbers for us because they just lived a life, whereas the newer videos tend to stop about 2,000 sometimes. But yeah, anyway. Steve Allen, Richard, as a director, thank you, flattering me. What kind of role do you think Duncan suits? Do you think he works best as an everyman, or do you think he could do villain stuff? Well, I've written a script for Duncan that we're trying to get made. Yeah,
I've got literally in writing the kind of role you think
yes.
I could play, and I must say I'm quite insulted.
I did. He's a dipshit. Yeah, no, but he's a dipshit. What I wrote for Duncan was an everyman dipshit, and we need to refine it a bit more with some more drafts. But he was kind of everyman dipshit, and I kind of derived humour from how much of a dipshit this guy was. But he's supposed to be likable as well, but he's kind of dumb, which doesn't reflect on Duncan at all. Like, he's not like that.
No, it's great. Richard has written a fucking good short film script, which if we pull it off as per the script, is going to be, I think, pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So no,
thank you very much.
You've got the best eye. No, you've got that creative spark that I don't really have. I'm quite good at riffing on things once people give me I'm the sort of whose line is it anyway guy. Like, I can riff once I'm given a scenario, but you're really good at just ground up, like coming up with stuff like that. So it's freaking cool. It's a really, really cool idea.
Oh, thanks. Well, we've got a crew. We've got a crew. We've got a little bit of funding. Our location recently had a big flood, which is no good, and I need to actually.
Oh no!
Yeah, they've had issues because that was a real. Because you could easily make it social distance. We need to. I originally wanted to play the second role, but I don't want to do that anymore. So I just don't think it makes sense. It's impractical. So we need to find someone else to play the second role.
Okay.
I think because I was going to do it myself, not because I want a career as an actor, but because I'm tight. Because it's two cool, people, isn't it? It's a 2-character film. There's no.
Yeah, it's a
kind of single location 2-character film. Though Liam suggested Ben. So we could give Ben a kind of screen test for that, or audition.
Ben.
Of Conversation Hat. Liam and Ben.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Though I did want that character to be older than you. Sorry, which everyone's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? I wanted that character to be older than you. I wanted there to be a kind of a paternal sort of a vaguely paternal sort of energy between those two characters. Anyway, we can't really tell you about it. But there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. So what is the time? Is it any time to log off? Yeah, not quite.
4.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we should try and get the partridgeness in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing a lot of people are like, people who throw titles out, they're going, do this, do that. It's like, would that we could, but it does have to go to a vote. So
yes.
Probably within our control, but
we can put them in the mix. Is all we can promise. It doesn't mean they'll get voted for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you. I think there are certain ones you just know. I think Partridge would win. It depends what we put it against, but I think Partridge would win. You know what I mean?
Partridge, Predator, Aliens.
Just do a bumper one.
Yeah.
Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator 4, 5, 6, 7. Partridge.
Alpha.
All the Predators, all the aliens. That'd be quite funny, actually.
I reckon, but I swear that it would win. I swear that it would win. If we did that, I reckon it would win. I'm so tempted to do it. Just put all the clickbait ones in. Like, there's just reams of them.
I like to think we've got away from the you just talk about Terminator shit. I like to think we have. Because we haven't for like quite some time. I think the original streams we did Robocop and Terminator, which again were voted for, I think, or were they? I think they were voted for.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
but they did really well. They did really, really well. But we did them because we wanted to let everyone know we're streaming, and then, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perennial problem, isn't it? People complain about it, but then they don't turn up to watch the other stuff, or they do, but there's only 4 of them. You know, it's like,
YouTube doesn't tell them it's there, or.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you've got to recognise that this, at the end of the day, we've got to do what you know expands the channel. We can't just do the obscure stuff. You know, most of it we would love to. But
Dan Lars, I think I might have even said this before, but Dan Lars says RoboCop remake, Terminator Genesis, Die Hard 5. I think I said Dark Fate in the RoboCop remake or something else, didn't I? Because I would view those as things that would probably pull down numbers, would piss some people off, but also we wouldn't have any real obligation to discuss them particularly seriously. We have doubled down because watch parties and commentaries aren't the same, but we did do Terminator Genesis as a commentary. We haven't done Dark Fate apart from the review we did.
Yeah, and Dark Fate's on Now TV or something.
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, because I've watched it with Ivan. That's just like,
that's right. What? Yes, no, my wife now started watching it because she was like, "Oh, look, Terminator," and I was like, "Yeah, but," and she was like, "No, but
it's a trap."
Like, right, yeah, exactly. And to which I replied, "Admiral Akbar," and she went, "Terminator." So I put it on. And we stopped after about 20 minutes because we just got...
Because it's shit.
It's shit. And it's shitter than I thought as well. I gave it quite a lot of leeway, I think, when we first reviewed it. So I did review it with you. And just starting it out again, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You know, I just went, no, I'm bored already. Like, I'm bored.
What?
And it's just shame because it's not like I hate the people involved or that I hate the opening, but I don't hate, the people who are trying to make a good film. I just sort of, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I saw The Force Awakens and I was kind of a bit on the fence about it, and then I saw it with you guys for like review purposes, and then I was with my little brother. I was kind of like, oh, Star Wars is back. Should we go see Force Awakens? And then I went and sat in the cinema, and when the music started and the text started going up the screen, my brain went, "You got to watch this again now. Why are you doing that?" And I was just like, "Oh fuck!" And it's long. And I was just like, "Oh no, this cost a tenner." Like, what was I thinking? It's a weird sort of turn in my head.
Your conscious just suddenly took back the controls and went, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so, I don't know. Anyway, Andrew K said Tango and Cash. That's a good one. That's a good shout.
Tango and Cash. Well, we could do sort of a buddy cop.
So shame we burned off Lethal Weapon in it, but there's other buddy cop films. It's fine. We can.
Yeah, it's 48 Hours, which technically isn't buddy cop, but
buddy film.
Cop.
Oh, 48 Hours, Tango and Cash, Midnight Run.
Done.
Do you want to do that next week? I've got a feeling Midnight Run would win that.
I really hope so, because fuck me, that is a great
That's been
film.
a long time coming for the chat as well. So maybe we'll do that. Philip did say, how about a vote on how... why not have a vote on how many would like to expand the choice and in which direction? I've thought that before. I'm not against sort of perhaps revising how things are chosen or something, or how, because it seems like you get a choice of 3 things that we randomly choose, and I think that's dictated by our schedules, really, isn't it? Because we're kind of, up against it.
Yeah.
Or someone said the Nice Guys as well. That's a good.
Good shout.
Yeah,
good shout. Yeah, I mean, it's not the voting. The voting thing is supposed to be about what we watch. It's not necessarily. We're not having a referendum on everything. But I take your point. Yeah, I think it's. I think so, but the problem is, I guess the polling, it goes to Patreons, and it's not for the audience, the wider audience. So it's very hard to gauge what everyone wants. I think that's the big problem. Is it's like, well, yeah, we just want to appeal to the most people possible. That's the problem in it, and that invariably involves talking about the same shite over and over again. And it's like, what does the Terminator's eye mean, or whatever? And it's like, well, I don't care. No one cares. But
care.
Apparently, these 4 million people care. So I guess we have to do. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Would that we could just do stuff about westerns or whatever, and that would be great. But I just don't know. Falling Down is brilliant, says Mark Garside. I agree.
Great movie. Very good film. Because you could maybe do like a Schumacher week or something. Because that's my favourite Schumacher film, probably. Well, until I discovered DC Cab, which kind of changed my life in a small way. But
I would say Falling Down is, I think you could say it's probably his best film.
James Atkinson says the Mr. Bean film. Which one, James? Mr. Bean's Holiday or Mr. Bean: The Ultimate Disaster Movie? What? I
think it's got to be Mr. Bean: The Ultimate Disaster Movie. That's the buddy.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah. With I can never remember his bloody name. From Ghostbusters 2 and
yeah. No, I know it. Hang on. That's going to piss me off because I do know his name. McCall. He'll come back to me. Peter McCall.
Yeah, is that it? Peter McCall. Peter McSomething.
Peter McSomething. Yeah.
Someone in the chat knows. They're racing. Yeah. Well, look, we've gone over.
Oh, right.
So it's time to
piss off everyone.
Piss off everyone.
Peter McNichol. Thank you, James.
McNichol.
There you go.
It's time to call a meeting, enter this meeting of the Midnight Society. So thank you all for coming. Thank you guys. Thank you for our communist punching stream this week. We'll cut to creds. That's what we say in the biz. We cut to creds. We don't say that. No one says that. Right.
We'll be back with someone else next week.
Duncan will be uncancelled by next week. It's gonna be fun. Right. Should we do it? Should we?
Yeah.
Kill this thing. All right, we're off. We love you. We'll see you next week. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.